Now, in defense of me, I got offered to go to the Asian market. Okay, you see, I got offered. My boss. I woke up late today. Okay, because yesterday was a very long day. Um, I, we worked the whole weekend. We had a lot to do. And so when I got up this morning, I technically got up on time, and then I started to stretch. And you know what the problem with that horror? Yeah, see, you made the face. When you stretch, you get real cozy. And Penny was screaming at me from the top of the fridge.
Of course.
And I went, what? And so I do every morning because she can see me. If you're sitting on my side of the bed, diagonal, you can see through both doorways, the doorway of my bedroom and the doorway of the hallway, right to the top of the fridge, where Penny is square looking at me, screaming because she wants her food. And I go, why? Because she goes, "Meow," and I go, why? And I'll reply back with that. And I was talking to her. I said, I know, Penny, you're right. I got to get up because the dogs have been in the crate a lot this week due to work. I had to work a lot, had to get up a lot, but I was getting up early to kind of balance out with the dogs going in the crate. So they
Right.
up at like 6 a.m. And that's going to lead into the exciting thing I have to tell you guys. I'll tell you that in a minute because I'm very excited about what happened this week. And Horror has no idea this happened. So
No, I'm waiting for her to tell me.
So this morning I get a text and my boss is like, "Are you up?" I was like, "Oh shit." I had literally just gotten out of bed. Ain't no one been fed. No one's gone outside, nothing. And I was like, I just opened my eyes. What's up? She's like, I just finished. And she starts listing off all these errands she got done. She's like, I still got to go do the food shopping and get lunch. You want to come with me? And so I'm thinking, oh, I got a little bit of time. I said, what time are you thinking? She said 11. It was 10:05. And I was like, huh? And so I then did a rush. And the reason I was able to do the rush is Starman and I decided we were going to strike while the iron was hot. So, in a literal sense, because it's so fucking hot in my house. Well, when it's this hot in my house, Orion gets exhausted so easy. Exhausted, in fact, that he can't chase. He gets less reactive. And so for the last week, all 3 adult cats have been out of their crates.
Nice.
And 3 days ago, Starman and I broke down the 2 other crates. They are no longer in our bedroom. And the kittens have the biggest crate on the floor level. But that's not even the most exciting part. Orion has stood face to face with Calliope and Athena and has shown 0 reaction, except for the fact that both girls have slapped him square across the face. Which now he does to them what he used to do to Zorro, still does to Zorro. He goes, standing over them like doing a stupid little whine. I want you to love me. And obviously they're not. And on top of that, he touched noses with all 3 kittens.
Aww.
And did not show a single bit of, not even an ounce of reaction. I just got a text message. Hold on. I got to see who this is from.
Well, it's not me.
No, it's not you. It's my dad. My dad sends me memes all day long. All day long. Hi, Hunty.
Hey.
I was just wondering what was going on. Like, I don't see any comments, but there's 7 people here. So I was getting ready to go and look and see what was going on, but you guys just helped me out there. Yeah, my dad sends me stuff all day long. So that was my exciting thing, is that Orion, now granted today he was on his shit. He was on his shit. Because he was in the crate most of the day. But I went and I did food shopping. We went and we tried this crab place. So my boss loves seafood. She knows I love seafood. She knows also Starman hates seafood. So she was like, is Matt at work? I'm like, yeah, he is. And she's like, well, you make sure you get your work done, Hunty. I don't want you doing what I do and getting distracted, because I do that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, don't agree.
You know very well I'm gonna.
Don't do that. And so, as a matter of fact, my dinner tonight was supposed to be spiny lobster. she bought me
Oh,
spiny lobster, and
yum.
I don't know how to cook it properly, so I don't want to half-ass it.
Right.
I've wanted it. So we were in Restaurant Depot, right? And
Mm.
this Restaurant Depot, the one in Charlotte, is fucking amazing. The first time she and I went there, they had fresh sea urchin, and she and I looked at it, but we were in a rush that day. I looked at it, I was like, that would make excellent sushi. And she's like, we'll have to get it. That's not today. And that was almost 9 months ago. So we haven't gone since. And so I whatchamacallit today, there was grouper heads. I've
Ooh.
never been in front of a grouper before outside of a tank. You
Right.
see them in the aquariums, but they don't look as big as they are. Bruh, let me tell you something. The head, I would say easily that wide and that tall, and they had 2 heads per back.
Wow.
I was like, damn, these are huge. And obviously these are for making stock.
Right.
These are for if you have a big seafood restaurant, you've got to make a stew. Late, Derp, we're not late.
We arrived exactly when we meant to.
Exactly. A queen is never late. Everyone else is simply early. And I love that line. Anyways, and so we were going through, I found a 2.5-pound wedge of Pecorino Romano, and I had to fight because that was a $25 wedge. And I was like, I want it, but I knew we were going to the Asian markets after. And I'm like, well, Starman says I never treat myself. And the wedge would be for both of us, whereas the Asian market is mostly for me. So I ended up spending way more than I should have at the Asian market. But I actually picked up snacks that are going to last me a couple of weeks.
Nice.
A couple things that I haven't been able to get. So there's this brand of pancake. It's not really pancakes. They're like frozen, and I don't even know the brand. I only recognize the bag. And I usually got them because they made green onion and leek pancakes. And so having one of those filled me up usually pretty much because it had the little bit of protein, a little bit of that and that and the other. They had new flavors when I've never seen it. The only ones I've ever seen were the green onion, the scallion, and the leek. That's all I've ever seen, which I know green onion and scallion are the same thing, but the way they do it is they have
know.
Yeah, they have 2 different kinds. So the scallion one is more like a scallion pancake that everyone's used to. And the green onion one is literally, it's a pancake with a filling in it. So that's where it's different. And so I would always buy those 3, and that's all they ever had. But when I went today, they had ubi, they had red bean, they had all, and I was like, I'm gonna get you, because they're frozen. So for months from now, when I want a little snacky snack, I can go and get them. And because the benefit of working at a restaurant that your friend runs and is very generous is I don't really have to do much cooking these days because I have a whole freezer full of raw meat that I have not used, because at the end of the day, when you make food in mass, because at the start of your shift, yes, the food is made to order, but what we'll do is we'll throw some chicken down in the fryer and we'll get that out of the way. But we only light fry it. It's 17 minutes, that's it. And it's just enough to bring it to temp and crisp the outside, that's it.
Yep.
And we use clean oil. So we get that. But if nobody takes it, I refuse to waste. So I'll take it home and either I'll strip it and throw it out to the animals, because you should not throw cooked bones to any animals.
Hey, helpless Johnny.
Or I will give it to Starman to take to dinner, take to work, things like that. I don't like to do waste. But anyways, going back to what I said, can you tell the coffee is kicking in? The ADHD is at full max. I went through it. It was just so exciting for me, guys, because I found all these things that I originally had to drive 2.5 hours to get at the H Mart. Now I found a 45-minute drive is all I need. There's the Super G and the Asian market. It's literally called the Asian market. And so if you're in the North Carolina, Charlotte area and you want to go to I was always told the Super G sucked. I was told by everybody the Super G wasn't that great. Wasn't that? They got a great selection. I could have easily dropped $500 if I wanted to. I could have easily dropped $1,000 today at Super G and at the Asian market. I could have filled my house, all sorts of shit. They're fresh produce. I will say this: if you're from the New England area and you move to the South, with rare exception, you're going to be disappointed by the produce sections and by the meat and fish sections. Because up north, nearly every market has a fresh butcher and a fresh fishmonger and a large, wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Down here, that's not the case. You get about 20 options of apples. You get plantains, banana, like very basic. Like, whereas up north, like I knew what a Buddha's hand was when I was 16, purely because I saw it in the market. We had fresh ginseng, fresh ginger, all these different things that the Walmarts and all different stuff down here, they just don't have. Like, it's just not expansive the way it is in New England. That's something I noticed. Excuse me, I had to burp. And
he's lazy.
So
hey, you wrong.
I love going to the Asian markets for that alone, because I can get a large variety of stuff. So that was my adventures today. And when I got home, because we had to rush around, I realized I was not able to cook my lobster. Just didn't know what to do, and I was exhausted because it was hot out today. So my lobster is sitting in my fridge. And if you've never, hold on, because I don't want to get it out because it's too hot in the house. Show you guys what it is.
Hey, Psychotic Mongoose, good to see you.
They have them in Asia, and they're beautiful in Asia. Let me get it up. Hold on. Spiny. There we go, spiny lobster. So let me show you guys. Hi, Rachel. Hi, everyone, by the way. So this is them. And here's why they're so delicious. And mine's pretty sizable. Mine's about a good 9 or 10 inches long. In most shellfish, whether it be shrimp, crab, whatever, this is not usable. This is great for flavoring stuff and if you like the brains. In a spiny lobster, all of this is meat. All of this is meat. It's from nose to tail. You can use it. And now I'm trying the I think a spiny rock lobster is the let me see. Because there is a beautiful one out of Asia. And they have this rainbow shells. So it's more like this. It's just like right here. There you go. Look at this.
Pretty.
Like, their shells are stunning. Absolutely stunning. And it's just, they're gorgeous to look at. When you, the variety we have here in America is like half the size of the one in Asia. I think it's in Singapore. Let me try Singapore. You tell I'm typing with my left hand.
Yep.
See, they're the same variety, like they're the similar breed, but the variety here is just different. Yeah, so see, this shows you. This is the one out of Singapore. This is the one out of America. Because this is the one I got in my fridge right now. This is not it. This is bigger. But they are so cool. And they have no pincers, but let me tell you what they do have. They've got the sharpest little needle-like shit all over their shell. And I found that out the hard way today. Which is another reason why I haven't put them in a pot at my house yet. Because all my pots are coated with nonstick. And these are sharp enough that he will absolutely cut up my pot. So I am contemplating using my Dutch oven instead, which is a little...
It'd be fine.
Yeah, because it's got the ceramics. I know. And I'm feeling... So last night I did not stream. We talked about... Was that on your side or my crazy?
That was my side.
Okay, thank God. we talk about gross stuff on here. So since we're mostly ladies here in the stream, I apologize. I didn't want to say it last night because it was a little too much. But
Men, plug your ears.
I was ovulating so bad last night, guys, that my right ovary was so tight I could not move.
Oof.
And there are reasons why. I think I'm at the point where I can say it now. I mean, it's been a while. So we believe that I had a miscarriage, guys. We had all the right signs, all the right stuff, and then my following cycle, everything checks off as a woman who was pregnant, and then no. And so that's been a bit of a thing for me, and that's why I was just in so much pain last night, because my body is punishing me on top of all of it. So it was a lot. This was back in July, around the same time my sister-in-law announced it, which was an added bonus. But I expected this one to be a little vicious, and it was. Oh my god, dude! I got out of the car because we obviously go to dinner with my dad. I got out of the car and I was like, I like almost fell over because my whole hip was just in pain.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, I realized I would not be able to sit here and adjust in any way because it was so bad I was crying out loud. So if you've ever experienced that, I guess that's as close to a cyst bursting. Girls have explained to me, and I can't, it did not feel like that, but it hurt. It hurt. So thank you, Rachel. Yes, I do feel better. And as you guys see, I am much better than I was last Monday. Last Monday, this was bad. Starman took care of it. And then it was, that was, I want to say Wednesday, he took care of it. And it's, the problem is NT, because I had no positive test or anything like that, I can stay a little distant from it. But yeah, it was a bit of a rough thing. I just didn't want to talk about it and bring up a big deal. That's why I think it's okay to bring it up now, especially on this one, because I know this is where I get, not shading us in any way, I get the smallest audience here. And so I figured this would be an okay place to mention it. And so yeah. So that's partly why you guys have seen me be a little neurotic and a little weird, and why my lovely
anybody can tell the difference.
It definitely threw me off. The entire thing threw me off completely.
Yeah.
Especially because it kind of came on the heels of me being so sick. It was a very weird thing. Like, this summer has been fucking weird. Like, everything that could go weird has gone weird.
Yeah.
But so now that we have smallest audience of bigger fans, yeah, I will say this. I don't know how true it is for horror with her fans. I see the same names every week here. When the people who show up to my lives, you guys are there every live. So I have zero complaints. You know, I don't need to have 5,000 people. I mean, it'd be nice because, you know,
money,
views and money. I would love that.
Oh, and I got to work on my watch hours. So
I got to work on a bunch because, like, so my boss just said today, because she was asking me, because the whole thing up in the air with my second boss. Now it's just like, I just don't care at this point. It's so up in the air. I still got the equipment. She claims she wanted it back. So I talked to her today and I said, listen, here's, because she wanted to know while we're out doing our errands, how YouTube is going. And I said, honestly, this month has been the best in a couple of months. And with it, what it is like, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk how much I earned, but I didn't pull a paycheck last month, right? I did not get anything. This month, I more than tripled what I would have pulled.
Wow.
And so all I did was I fixed the settings. Repsion told everyone about this back in May. If you go into your settings, which you should know about this for when you do get fully monetized, because they automatically turn this off for you. You have to manually go in and turn it on. You have to go in and say you're okay with alcohol, cigarettes, and gambling being advertised on your YouTube.
I mean, hell yeah, why wouldn't I be?
Well, because those are the most lucrative, but they turn those off because they're also the most problematic. So they pay the most for their advertising, but you might never see it. And I was like barely scraping by with the minimum of what I can pull a paycheck. After that, except for the fact that I didn't load any videos, I've easily pulled double what the minimum is
Wow.
without even blinking. And so I've noticed an increase in all of my videos in the revenue. So that's why with only 2 videos, I'm great. I'm pulling a check this month.
Nice.
So that's why I know. The only one I don't show up to is Mother. Yeah, and honestly, that one's the hardest one for me to even show up to sometimes because it's the end of the week. I am exhausted. And even though Sunday is not a full shift at my job, you will not believe the people that show up for brunch. I know.
Yeah, I would.
I'm a brunch bitch. So, and yet I always get shocked at the amount of people we get. But anyways, and so I will say that to anybody out there that is looking to be a YouTuber, has recently got monetized, any of that, make way on taking over.
I'm sorry you have to fight me first, and
right?
I may not be as loud as she is, but I am meaner.
She is, Faye. She mean.
Now everybody say bless you, Star.
My nose. Anyways, so and hi Faye. And so like with it, if you get monetized, really look into your settings. If you're not seeing a good revenue flow, YouTube inadvertently, I let her use the access to the stream because I was like, girl, I can't, but I want to make sure you have
Hey Stardust.
Whatchamacallit, the audience. So I was like, here, take my login, just go.
I mean, technically I have the login too, so at this rate, we're all gonna have Star's login.
Right? It's one of the things I'm least concerned about. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Go live? I can literally shut you down. It's one of the few things where I have the power. Does that mean I'm getting paid to mod now? No. Baby. No, baby. Listen.
Ow, my neck.
Ooh, and wait a minute, Fraud. Aren't you supposed to be getting ready for nuptials, sir?
Oh, is someone getting married?
Finally is after the Kaluli. Skamas.
Ooh.
Yes, he's finally able to. But yeah, so I resigned.
No, you don't.
Listen, the day that I start earning money,
next weekend.
It's next week. Okay. I will say this: the day that I start earning money, all my mods are gonna pull some kind of check. It may not be a lot, but all my mods will pull some kind of check.
Get $1 each.
I'm waiting to get a very angry message from my aunt. Oh God. Money. That's my idea. Like, because that's what I was telling my boss. And so what she said was she wants to start making content for the restaurant. And the thing is, my boss is exceedingly talented. She's got knife skills. She's got cooking skills. Like, she's one of those people where you can do one of those panning shots going, and she's just like so quick. And the thing is, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to me because she'll come to me and she'll be like, why are you going so slow? And I'm like, bitch, that's called carpal tunnel. I am an artist, so these are not going to be at risk. Okay? See these things? I love them too much. I'll let a cat claw them because that's at the surface. But she's got chef knives, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't use just chef knives. She uses the Asian chef knives, which are thinner and smaller. So they cut to the bone easier.
Oh, yeah.
One time, she was picking up a cutting board. Her son was behind her, and he was asking her a question. I love her son to death, but sometimes he picks the wrong fucking time to be like, "Mother, food," and literally, this is literally he'll come in back when I first started work, he'd be like, "Mom, food," and I yelled at him. I was like, "Sir, do you look out in that dining hall and see people?" "Yes, Miss Cassie." "Do you see that your mother is going apeshit behind the stove?" "Yes, Miss Cassie." "Then march your ass back up those stairs and you wait."
My first thing would be, what are you, a baby bird?
Yes.
Fuck off.
He gives zero. The kid is exceedingly intelligent and also gives zero fucks. He's a sweet and wonderful kid, but when it comes to food, nothing gets in his way. And he will sit there and go, I want this. His mother once offered him salmon. He said, is the skin on? She said, no. He goes, then I don't want it. He's very, anyways. And so she was trying to tell him, leave me alone for a minute. She just picked up the cutting board and the knife merely pressed into her hand.
Yep.
It cut her through 2 layers of skin. Like, it was deep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like, she had to go to the hospital and everything. So yeah, when she's like, why aren't you cutting faster? Because I value my fingers. Like, it will get done, young lady. It will get done. You give me all those vegetables. I will chippity chop. I will get it done. You want it done fast? Get me the blender. That's how it gonna go. And let me see. I missed a couple. We were talking, and she kept interrupting me and wouldn't let me finish how I felt
Hey,
about
Moon.
her family situation. So I hung up on her. Not my Faye. Well, hi, Edie. Why are you going slow? I only get 10 tries at best going fast. And as you see, I haven't risked a single try yet. And then, let me see. I'm done being nice when I already hinted that I want her to stop interrupting me. I don't blame you. I know that's a pet peeve of yours anyway. So I do not blame you. Yeah, if I injure my hand, my life would be over until I right. Like, and the thing is, like, I already have nerve damage in my hands from when I worked in a kitchen a decade ago. I worked in a hi Akuma. I worked in a college, and I was working 13-hour days. We were only allowed like a half-hour break, and I was working double shifts. And my hands, as you can see, my hands are genuinely pretty small, and I was handling knives designed for men. And men with large hands. So
Yeah.
that the problem is I was literally gripping knives that were bigger than my grip could go. And so when you do a repetitive action all day long, and I was doing the salad bar, I was doing the soup bar, I was doing the sandwich bar, I was doing deli meats. I only worked there 3.5 months. I developed carpal tunnel within a month.
Oof.
And it has been affecting me ever since. So these fingers are for finger painting, not cutting onions. You know, that's the one thing we don't cut. We buy it pre-cut, and that's better. Patriarchy knives. But the only mommy here is me. I like cutting onions to see people cry. But anyways, so that's me going off on a tangent about everything. But I already told her about all the stuff to do with. So me and her are going to start doing content creation for the restaurant, hopefully by the new year. We need to get a couple more people hired so that way she can still pay me to do what I do. Because the idea is eventually I will be able to not need to be physically at the restaurant. I'll still be the assistant manager, but I'll only need to go in for the last hour to close down and pay out the waitresses and things like that. And then I just cart my merry ass home. And so what I would do during the day is I would, hi Moon. What I would do during the day is I would be making the content and then focusing on my own content as well. So like I could spend 2 or 3 days at the beginning of the month farming content with my boss. We go to her own home kitchen, which is beautiful. We record shit, things like that, and then I can create shit. And our idea is because she used to run a photo booth in LA.
Oh,
okay?
really?
So yeah, my boss is a woman who she sent me this thing the other day, and it was we always say to each other. This is why I'm so protective of using even her name.
Hey, Shadow Warden.
To each other that God sent us to each other because we'd never had someone to support each other the way that we support each other. And she actually sent me this meme, and it was it said, every woman needs a woman who just supports her. No competition, no fighting, no bitterness, just I'm proud of you and I see your accomplishments. And she wrote, you're my woman. And I started crying. I was like, oh. And you know, so that's what we're trying to do with this. And she literally, I wish she had known about Instagram. She had this photo booth in the LA area, and she had it on the website. She would get millions of hits on her website. I'm like, girl, why didn't you make a social media page? You could have monetized this. She's like, we didn't know about it then, because she doesn't take Instagram seriously at all. She does little barbs at me because I take the Instagram very seriously, because I know that once you get really big on Instagram as a restaurant, people are sharing your food, they're sharing the videos, and then you can go from small town popular spot to landmark in your state that everyone has to try once.
Popular tourist destination.
And that's what I'm trying to get us to, because we've had folks travel from South Carolina, Georgia, upstate Virginia to come to our restaurant. And so I know that we are gaining that ability. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm going off about all this stuff. I just had like a really good day. And so I was trying to share.
And a long nap.
And I had a long ass nap. I got home around 5:30. Around 6:30, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna close my eyes for a minute, and I opened my eyes, and it was 8:45, and I was like, what the fuck happened? And so yeah, same for independent voice actors too, right? Like, there's so many ways that you can improve, and right now, we both see our skills and talents. And hello,
Sis Patu.
And so yeah, and also go ahead and lurk, Faye. But so now on to slightly sadder, but also it's called says Batu. It was a glorious sleep. It was so glorious that Starman shaved and went to take a shower, woke me up, gave me a kiss, asked me if I liked his beard. Apparently, I responded with, I love the way it looked, gave him a kiss back. I'm like, I'm going to let you know that wasn't me. I don't know who that was. Some other woman in my body. Happened yesterday morning, too. No, it was this morning. He said that's why I woke up late. He claims that he woke me up. I had my eyes open. I responded. I said, sir, did I get up out of the bed? No, then that wasn't me. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm exhausted. I did a 4-hour stream last night. Yes. So you need to get some sleep tonight, young lady. But anyways, so as my fellow Americans know, today is 9/11. And it was autopilot, right? It was auto wife. And I always get a little emotional about 9/11 because I'm very ashamed of the way I acted when it first happened. I hate New York City with a passion because exactly 3 months to the hour, I was in front of the Twin Towers. On 6/11 at 9:15 a.m., my class was right in front of the Twin Towers. We had gone for our our 8th grade trip. And when I was in New York, I nearly died. My class abandoned me in Chinatown, and I got in trouble for getting it. I was wandering around, and I didn't know where I was. I was 13 years old. No, I wasn't quite 13 yet. I hadn't turned it yet. I was turning it in a week and a half. And I'm going around and I'm like, hello? I have a shirt that says my hometown on it. And I'm like, I don't know where I am. People told me to fuck off. Everything. And then I got in trouble because we were at a little store. I turn around and my classmates abandoned me. We were on, has anyone heard of the ferry drivers in New York that got caught drinking and smashing the boats into the ferry all the time from Ellis Island back? Okay, well, that was a thing. There was 2 particular ferry drivers that were constantly drinking on the job. And for like a good 10 years, they were constantly banging the ferry boats into the dock. Take a guess who happened to be on one of those ferries. And the only reason I didn't go falling into the water and smashed into the dock was people grabbed my shirt because the windows were wide open and he slammed the ferry into the dock and the boat tipped. And so when it tipped back this way, I was right in front of the window and I was falling. And it was just people had the chairs and they went and they grabbed the back of my shirt. And then I had this guy that was selling knockoff watches, and I had knocked him down to $10. I was very proud of myself. And that's when the cops showed up. And I had my hand. I was reaching out. He closed the suitcase and ran off. I was like, New York sucks. And so later, when I'm sitting in algebra class and I hear that New York is on fire, my 14-year-old butt said, good. Like, I was just so happy. I was like, good. I'm glad. And so I was sitting there unaffected. It did not occur to me until 2 or 3 days later that people even died and that anyone was hurt. And so from then on, I've been very, I've tried to repent by always being very aware of 9/11. And I always make myself watch the videos. And every year, more personal videos come out. Because, I mean, there was millions of people in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And every year, a new home video comes out. I don't know why people wait so long to share them. I think they just get kind of nervous. But it's like, you see them, and it's just crazy. It is crazy to watch all 3 planes. Like, the one in the Pentagon went so fast. So incredibly fast. All you see is the tire marks. Is it just... And so it's like, these are things that I get upset about. But then I find out, I think when I was in college, I found out about the animals. And this is what I was leading into. I've always been annoyed with people saying that animals aren't important. Animals are not that big a deal. We shouldn't worry about animals. But animals, like, there was a lot of dogs who were search and rescue that became extremely depressed due to 9/11 because they weren't able to find living people. And the thing is, when you have a dog as search and rescue, one of their things is they're meant to find them alive. That's part of the reward, is finding people alive. And I like the one where they show steel beams melting. I don't want to hear none of that. Hi, Diane. This is my mother-in-law. We're hoping, crossing fingers, that they're visiting in a few weeks.
Ooh.
We're very excited. But my father-in-law, apparently my husband, takes after his dad.
Oh.
So as you all know, Starman hurt his wrist a couple weeks ago, was out for a week. By the way, we got the official letter this week. They denied his claim. They won't pay him for the injury. They're like, it was an avoidable accident. All accidents are avoidable, motherfucker. Like, really?
That's why they're called accidents. They're not called on purposes.
So I gotta make that a shirt. They're called accidents, not on purpose. Bubs, clip that. I love it. Anyway, and so Starman's always getting an ass ache, an elbow ache, something. He's injuring something. Well, Starman's dad might have torn his meniscus. And I'm like, God almighty.
Hey, Metastep.
Bubs, Di has no bad stories about me because she loves me. And I've been a good daughter-in-law. Haven't I, Diane?
I get the feeling there's some really dark stories in there.
With Starman, I'm the good kid. I'm the good kid. I was 7 when that happened. Oh my God. No, you know what? You know what Starman was upset about today? He's like, you know what I realized? I said, what? And he said, I realized that there are full-grown adults that weren't alive when 9/11 happened. I was like, sir.
Yep.
Tom is one of them. My coworker, Tom, Honest Tom. I was like, sir, Tom is one of them. He's like, I don't want to hear it. And then I started saying, our nephew's another. I don't want to hear it. He was done. He didn't want to hear none of that. And I was like, just saying, sir, we know many of them. We're personal friends with many of them. And yeah. It's crazy to think, though, that it's been 22 years.
Yeah.
And I am the good kid, Faye. Actually, I really am. my brother, my sister-in-law, and even my husband, I'm the best behaved one. I've got the worst attitude and the loudest mouth. Well, actually, no. I don't know. My brother's pretty loud. Oh, and we saw the ultrasound of the baby.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh,
Tender it is, but we saw the
totally.
ultrasound, and it's so cute. It's a little bean. The baby has legs and arms now, and a very large brain. So,
sounds like a hereditary trait.
right? No, it's because like, so it's still the development where it's like, the baby's face is like that big, but the head is like developed. And so my sister-in-law is like, does it look like it has a big nose? It doesn't have a nose yet.
It's her sister-in-law's baby, bub.
Bub, you don't pay attention. My brother is having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And no, you Bubs, you also missed the other part, but I don't want to bring it up again. I'll tell you later in private message. But anyways, Starman is the best. I love my husband. He's a pain in my ass, and there's many faults that he has, and I allow him to bask in my perfection. That assists him in it. But yeah, going back to the saying, so it's like a lot of times when people sit there and tell me about animals not being important, we don't need to put things aside for animals, we don't need to do this, that, and the other for animals, I remind them that when they needed somebody to save them, when they needed someone small and agile to dig in the rubble. By the way, these dogs were breathing in noxious fumes, cancer-causing things. These dogs went into... Can I pay you to train my husband? Listen, he'll beg for you back, Faye. He begged for you back. I'm a very easy woman. I really am. I'm simple to train. I'm simple to be... I'm easily pleased. However... on the other hand, don't piss me off. Don't make me mad. But, and by the way, the reason why, because I'm getting jealous right now. I can't take the kittens out anymore because they're on floor level. It's a lot more difficult to control who comes out. I can try. Women should be seen, not heard. Sleazy just wants to, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. That's him. He likes to push the buttons.
He ready. But yeah, and so I wanted to remind everybody about these dogs that were just like, we're talking hundreds of them. Search and rescue dogs that put their lives on the line and that's the point. He needs to learn that I'm simple, right? We don't really need much. And that's what I was joking about today with my boss. I said to her, so if your husband wants to wine and dine, it wants to romance you, I didn't even get the rest of the sentence. She goes, feed me. And I you know what I heard? Feed me, Seymour. And she's never seen Little Shop of Horrors.
What?
I was like, girl, you Audrey too right now. She's like, he knows what to do. All he got to do is say reservation, market price. I'm like, oh. Mind you, this woman is a little slip. Like, she's tiny. She's got 2 hollow legs. And
those women make me so jealous.
Well, the thing is, like, she'll say to me all the time, because again, now I need you guys to understand, she is Asian and not just like, American Asian. No, she's from Vietnam Asian. So as she will tell you straight to your face, she's like, oh no, I mean, that's my culture. We are mean. And so she says straight to me, she's like, girl, like when I get in and out of the car, she's like, girl, I don't know how you do it, how you lugging all that around. Bitch, shut up. And she'll gain 10 pounds and she'll look at me and be like, I don't know how you do it. My knees can't handle it. I'm like, you weak. It's okay. She makes fun of me for not being able to handle spice. She's like, why are you so weak? And I'm like, how dare you? But then she gains a pound and she starts complaining about like her knees hurting. I'm like, why are you so weak? Yeah, animals are important just because they don't think like that. So that's the thing. It's like I was just showing horror before we got on stream.
Hey, Dragzilla. Hello.
I don't mind anyone eating any kind of meat as long as the animal is treated fairly. But a lot of the times, the dog meat eaten in Asia is stolen. These are animals stolen from somebody, or they were adopted from a shelter to be eaten. So these dogs were not raised to be meat to begin with. And when you see the conditions that they're left in, these animals are starved. They're in dirty conditions. She is a roast master, absolutely. And they're not taken care of. If you're going to consume another creature to sustain your life, I said this before on the channel, take care of them, treat them well, give them a good life, give them something clean to sit in. And the problem is, these are live dogs in the back of the restaurant, meaning these are animals that are slaughtered on site. And there's a lot of times where they have shown this ain't good. And I am honestly in the belief that carnivores, with the exception of birds, are just not tasty. Like snakes, they're not the greatest. Gator meat is very plain. Like I know for a fact you can get gator meat, and I've had it. However, you gotta do a lot to it for it to taste like much. The only carnivores I've eaten that are good are birds. That's it. Everything else kind of tastes.
Where did fish fall, though?
I mean, they're a carnivore, but they'll also eat plankton, which are practically plants in and of themselves.
Yeah.
Them birds are good. I know, exactly. So it's like, I just saw my tongue is stained from the matcha I had earlier. And like, damn it, that looked gross. But it's fish, I would say, but again, like, those are the exception. But when you have like land carnivores, like large cats, large dogs, marsupials, any of them,
she'd be all stringy and not very delicious. I mean, just look at her.
I love that. But I will say I had shark. Shark ain't that great. I didn't enjoy it. Like, but
wait
shark,
a second.
Huh?
Oh, she's scratching my face and she's doing.
Oh, she's trying to imitate you. That's so
no,
cute.
she wants me to scratch her stomach, so she's trying to get me to.
Oh, that's so cute. See, now, I don't know if you're being serious or not, Desert Jack, because I know that mountain lion is technically illegal to eat. But bear, I've had bear. Bat soup omnivore. See, I've heard bats not that great either. So it's stuff like that where I've had bear sausage. It was pretty good. Yeah, but my thing is like, so the thing you talk about steak, right? A truly good steak is a grass-fed beef, right? And you don't need anything but a little salt and pepper. That's it.
A little garlic's always nice too.
And yes, but what I'm saying is a truly good steak speaks for itself, right? Like when you have truly good meat, you should not need to add a bunch of stuff to it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. And the worst thing is, Shadow, they do that because they believe, it makes it taste better, even though it's actually been proven that when an animal dies in a stressful way. Oh yeah, I know. I've let it think that, Fae Queen, because that's the last game I streamed. When an animal dies under stress, lactic acid and adrenaline goes through the body. And so it fills the veins and it fills the meat, which actually makes it tougher and make it taste more rancid. So when you kill an animal that is scared, you're ruining your own meat. So go off, do it. What's y'all's stance on frog legs? Oh, I love frog legs. But I will say once again, they actually don't have a lot of flavor. What makes frog legs good is they're juicy. Like when you have frog legs, it is not a dry meat, but you have to season it. It tastes like nothing otherwise.
I've never really had frog legs, I don't think.
Also have moose meatballs. A lot of Chinese say the stress tastes good. No, thank you. No, thank you. My list goes buffalo, venison, elk, moose, beef. Yeah, those all sound delicious. How
For
dare you?
beef myself, but I find the other ones to be too lean.
See,
I don't like gamey meat.
I like lean meat. I like it because, you taste a lot more of the meat itself. And I'm all about carnivorous foods. Starson's favorite thing is my cake. Yo, she got some cake. Okay? Let me tell you something. Faye got cake. Adrenochrome. Diane, I want to tell the story about you.
Uh-oh.
It was so funny. I'm waiting for her. I want to know if she remembers what I'm talking about. And if she's okay with me telling the story. It was at TGI Fridays. Recently got a lot of buffalo donated nonprofit. People are weirdos out there and didn't want to take it.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with buffalo.
See, I cannot bring myself to eat snails, but I love herring and whatchamacallit.
I don't think I could do snails. I've seen way too many way too much 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah, like a lot of them are served half cooked. I will say this unpopular opinion, oysters are overrated.
No, I have to agree. They're just snot bubbles.
So when we were in Vegas,
Hey,
we
Phil.
went all you can eat sushi place. And it was really great. So what it was made to order all you can eat. So what they would do is you got the hard list and you could order what you wanted. Great. Well, there was a oyster shot. And our friend Ray did not understand what it meant. You get a raw oyster in a little cup of, I think it's like sake and soy sauce. He said it was salty snot. I was like, huh?
Yep.
He ate it because he had to, because he already ordered it.
Yep.
But
those things ain't cheap.
Even cooked, I mean, again, they have to be seasoned right or they just don't taste right to me. My tummy was happy. Doggo's tummy was happy. Adrenochrome is only beneficial to the old demons if it's a human. Only one baby. Yeah, Diane. Supposedly it's only one. The other one might be hiding. I think Diane's behind. I think she's delayed. I'm not eating something that filters the ocean and sea. See, I don't mind eating filter feeders. Like, I will happily eat shrimp, clams. Razor clams are pure meat, guys. They're about that long, okay? So I want you to think this. You're going to eat something this long and that thick, and it is pure meat. Pure meat. So worth it. I love cooked squids and octopus. Right, squids, octopus, delicious. There is a way to make octopus where it's marinated and very soft and not chewy and bouncy. But yeah, let me see. We had bear on our property once, had to shoot it. Cop said, well, now you have to prep it and eat it. Otherwise, it's a felony.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. If you kill a bear, you have to use every part of it.
That's funny. It may be a cannibal based on my name, but I love calamari. Calamari is so good. And so again, we went to an all-you-can-eat place today, but it was as well as cooked to order. And it was you got like I can't think of the word. We don't need to hear Rachel. I've never gotten to have abalone. I want to have abalone. That's a lie. No, is it a lie? No, I've had conch.
What?
So I've had conch fritters. Conch is very good. It's very soft, but I want to have abalone. I really want to get that. The shells are gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So we went today, and I'm trying to think of the word. A seafood boil. So it was a seafood boil, and you get any seasoning you wanted on it. And it was good. I enjoyed it. They had, most of the fish was very fresh. which I was surprised considering I'm hours inland. Um, but I'm most excited about that damn lobster. I just think bear is a really big, lean pig. See, what I would love to try is wild boar.
Ooh, that'd be good.
And see, my boss is Muslim, so she can't have pork, but she can have wild boar.
Really?
But it has to be. Yeah, I didn't know that. So apparently, it's because if it is if it's domesticated, it's against the religion. But if it is wild, it is completely okay. But it has to be 100% wild. They can't be raising boar that are not domestic. Does that make sense to you? Does it, like what I'm saying, making sense?
No, I mean what you're saying makes sense, but that
It's gotta be
doesn't
halal.
make sense.
That's the main thing. Like she's Restaurant Diva, by the way, has a shit ton of halal stuff. Like, did not understand. Like, they have just rows and rows of halal. It's the cloven hooves, but the thing is,
It might be different for Muslims, but I don't know. I'd have to ask sheep.
I have to find. Like, that's what she told me. Like, I asked her because she
I
don't
mean-
eat bacon, obviously. She gets beef bacon, which is so fucking expensive. And
I
honestly,
keep seeing that and keep debating trying it, but I don't know.
it's good. I will say to you, it's worth getting at least once. But it's $50 for like what you would spend as $4 to
I don't
$6
think it's that
on a
much here.
Well, it might be because of where you are, because you're closer to large farms.
Yeah.
Here, it's $50, and she's getting it from Restaurant Depot, so that could be why. Super pigs. Yeah, I think that's. What about wild pigs? Let me find out, because it's wild boar. I don't think, because wild pigs still stem from being domesticated. Let me see. Wild. Stop it.
Yeah, Desert Jack, I want to get myself a meat grinder so I can make my own sausage and hamburgers.
Okay, Sharia scholar,
Sure.
advisory member, Islamic finance. Meat of pigs, boars, and swine are strictly prohibited in Islam. But she's not Islamic. Like,
So what is she?
she's Muslim, but like, there's Islam.
Is she cultural? Is she like?
Well, there's is the meat of wild boar also forbidden? Let me see. I reckon. See, this is not the same type. Scholars classify boar as a type of pig, something described as being haram to consume. Thus, the boar would also be sinful to consume. This should clear things up. Wild boar is a species of pig genus. Part of the. This is just a whatever. I guess they're talking about. I don't think so. So I know. So I don't know. That's what she told me, and I'm going to. I always thought that it was mediocre.
No.
NT War Machine. Oh, look how upset you got her. She even logged off.
I didn't do shit. You pissed off my computer. My computer decided, oh, fuck you. You made it so mad that it just randomly disconnected me.
I thought it was based on the diet of the animal that they eat. I can't remember.
Well, I know as far as Judaism goes, it's things with cloven hooves.
Right, but
So-
cows have cloven hooves. That's what don't make any sense to me. Like, they have cloven hooves, and so do sheep. So it doesn't make any sense to me why they would say, like, that's what doesn't make any sense to me. Almost all, except for horses, have cloven hooves. Good night, Bubs.
You have stinky breath.
She looked at you like, well, fuck you too.
She's in heat. That's why she's here.
It's the point hoods we don't like. They can eat cloven hooves except for pigs, right? I don't know what it is.
Okay, it's
They
just
are
weird.
bending the rules. Nova, get your ass off of that. Hey. Get off of that. Go.
Night, Phil.
Get off of that. Go. Go.
When it comes to dietary restrictions, I'm glad I'm just not religious.
I'm glad that Catholics only can't eat meat on Fridays in Lent. But if you have any kind of a medical issue, you're forgiven for that. So, IBS. Thank you. Also, diabetics. So, fun fact for my fellow Catholics out there: diabetics are not beholden to the Lenten rules because it could interrupt their diets. And if you have anything that would cause issues, so like for instance, if you have psoriatic arthritis, which can usually be inflamed by the food that you eat. If you just have psoriasis or eczema, which can be damaged by the food that you eat, or if you have a stomach condition, then you are exempt. So,
basically, she's just exempt all the way around.
Whatever.
Hey, Big
Hi,
T.
Tony. Well, it's been fun, guys. I gotta bounce. Well, good night, little fox.
Night, fox.
So it's kind of interesting to see what is a dietary restriction, because in some sects of Christianity, filter feeders like clams, shrimp are also off the market. You cannot eat them. It's considered sinful to eat those, which is just crazy to me. And they say because they eat the lowest form of food. But the thing is, if you're in clean waters, then it doesn't matter. So it's very weird. I think there's, speaking of IBS, I always call app IBS paint instead. That's funny. I like that. I'm sorry, but I can't get behind a church that believes babies can go to hell. I mean, and it's okay, Faye. I don't expect you to. It's the thing is, that's where they treat everyone equally. But there's a lot of debate around that.
I mean, we could get into the whole I don't believe in a God that punishes people for things they don't know. So
there's a whole thing about, oh, please, let me tell you something. Today, not today, the other day, this is something where people get very mad at me. And I'm just going to say, I put it up in the, whatchamacallit, the drama screenshots of my Discord.
Oh no, she's causing drama again. Shocking.
So, Melanie Mack posted about, she posted some scripture excerpt. And someone said, sorry, Melanie, I'm too mad at God right now to think about him. And she pretty much wrote back, people create their own problems and then they blame God for when it goes wrong. And someone said that's bullshit, that's a cop-out. And I was like, do you understand what free will is? And this is the main thing that a lot of people, religious or not, do not understand. Before God granted us free will, Big T is going to be a pastor. So he'll probably correct me on something potentially. We'll see. Before God granted us free will, it was a pure sin to not worship God at all. Like it was, you were beholden, you had to. But once he granted us free will, what that said was, God will allow us to do whatever we want. However, that doesn't mean that every time shit hits the fan now, God is going to intervene. So, right, if your kid gets cancer, whether you like it or not, that was from what people did down the line. We poisoned our food. We ruined our atmosphere. We destroyed our genome, which sadly in the end resulted in a child getting cancer. The child is not at fault, which a lot of people don't understand. Like, oh, so fuck you to the kid? That's not it. You're not understanding. The point is, we created that problem. And now that a child suffers from it, now we're like, God, how could you give that kid cancer? God didn't. You did. Or humans as a whole did. And that's just a basal idea. And so I tell people, you cannot sit there, fuck around, and then when you find out, say, God, it's all too hard, it's all too rough right now, this is difficult, come fix it. But you got to let me go back to do whatever the hell I want to do afterwards. And I can go right back to what I was doing. And then when it gets bad again, come back and fix it again. God, why'd you let this war happen? I know that it was the bad person that started it, but you let it happen. And that's what a lot of people don't like. I'm like, I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, that was us. He gives us, and this is where I know you don't, you have a hard time believing God. Here's the thing.
I wouldn't say I don't believe in God. I just don't necessarily believe Christianity has a right.
Right. So here's the thing. God will give you a path. He will give you all the signs and all the good things you're supposed to do. He knows where you're supposed to be in life. However, if you do not follow those signs, if you do not choose to go on those, and you follow all the red flags that they're a circus, don't then turn around later and say, God, why'd you forsake me? He didn't. You did not choose where you should have been, which is why your life is more difficult, which is why the moment I stopped fighting what I knew I was supposed to do in life, even when I had hardships, it really wasn't that bad. And it's the same exact thing with this. And so that's why, again, I say this to people. And again, people also they're like, he said to me, he goes, oh, so what? If a kid falls down the stairs, fuck him for getting what did he say? For getting paralyzed. I said, you're acting like God tripped him. God didn't do that. The kid fell down the stairs and through the accident became paralyzed. He goes, oh, so the kid's at fault? Fuck the kid. I'm like, that's not what I said. I said, you're acting like God caused that problem. I said it on top of that. He goes, oh, so if a surgeon saves your life, who do you credit, him or God? I said, I credit the surgeon with the hard work, but I credit God for pointing that surgeon in the right path and blessing them with the knowledge and with the
talent
that God gave him. The surgeon still went through the hard work of going to school and everything. What did the guy come back with? Oh, so fuck the surgeon and all the schooling. That's not what I said. See, you didn't listen. And the thing is, a lot of people who don't like religion are desperate to gotcha people who are religious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not saying that bad things are deserved. What I'm saying is they are the consequences of our actions. That's it. That's all it is. We suffer the consequences of our actions and then look to God and say, why aren't you fixing what we fucked up? That's what it is. You know, God used to be able to step in, but that's when we were contractually obligated to be through God. And I think it's Desert Jack who said it. Man was given choice. We got the choice, but it's the same idea. And like whatchamacallit, we still stick our finger in the light socket and blame God when we get shocked. Right, exactly, Tony. And the thing is, this is akin to you move out on your own, right? Your mom and dad teach you all these different things, show you all the way you can be a good adult when you move out. You move out, you don't pay your rent, you don't buy food for yourself, you let your bills go behind, and then you turn around and go, Mom and Dad, why didn't you support me? Why didn't you give me what I needed? Who's at fault? The adult that moved out and wanted to be a big kid on their own and then wasn't responsible? Or the parents? Like, who's supposed to clean that up? We would say to that kid, that's your fault. Your mom and dad showed you what you needed to do. They taught you all the things you needed to know.
Supposedly.
And you didn't do anything with it. You went out, you fucked around. And see, so Faye Queen said it right there. We have to struggle to reap good rewards. And it's just, again, so this is where, yeah, we fucked up. We only gave a rib and... Sleazy can't help himself. But so that's where, too bad it wasn't part of the brain, right? I know. So you've been making a lot of facial expressions while I went off on my tangent. What say you? I feel like you have a lot to say.
I really don't have too much to say because I think that in the end, everybody experiences God differently.
True.
And so that's part of why, again, I don't necessarily believe Christians have it right. I don't think Muslims have it right. I don't think Buddhists have it right. I think that realistically, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And as humans, we're never going to entirely understand it. It's not in our scope. It's like asking a dog to understand what we do all the time. And yeah, they can do what we say, but beyond that, they're kind of clueless and cute.
They don't understand why we're asking. They just know that we're asking.
Yeah. And so they do it anyway because they figure in the end they'll get a treat.
Right.
Or they'll get beat, depending on what's going on at the time. But so for me, I just don't subscribe specifically to any religion. I do absolutely believe there's a God. I have absolutely no compunction about that idea. I, however, believe that he is far more interested in how we lead our lives, how we treat each other, and what we do than he is in if we believe in Jesus. or if we eat the right food, or if we fuck men or women.
I do believe there's a lot of that, absolutely, that God is more concerned in the end of the day of us being as much a light as we can in the world.
Right. But that's basically where I am, is I understand why other people believe in whatever structure they've had set for them. And I understand that for many people it's necessary, and it brings comfort to them. It brings understanding. It helps them interpret their lives. It helps them interpret themselves. I just have never found that it was particularly useful or helpful for me.
You can hear the dog in the background going, "Preach it, sister! Preach it, sister!" Yes, yes.
Actually, no, she's probably barking because she wants. That's Grace. I put her down, and now she wants more attention because she's in heat. And this is one of those free will issues where I chose to keep her intact. Thus, God is torturing me.
He's like, "Oh, bitch, you thought
you did this to yourself, and now you are going to fucking deal with it." But yeah, so I mean, and I have no desire to pull anybody out of their religion. I have no desire to belittle anybody's religion, because as long as they are not using it for evil and to harm others, except for what?
Scientology.
Oh, well, no, that's not really a religion. That's a money-making scheme. Those are different. But yeah, as long as you're not using your religion as an excuse to hurt people, I don't care. I'm fine.
I've personally, now this is where whatchamacallit. No, that doesn't that doesn't take care of the problem.
It doesn't.
No. Dragzilla, I'm gonna tell you right now what you're doing with the cat. Let's not talk about that, because that. Anyways,
all that does is tell me how far along in heat she is,
yeah,
how far she flags her tail.
As I was raised in my particular church, I was raised and taught this: you never force the word of God on anyone. You walk the path. You act in Jesus. You follow Jesus. And the light you emit following Jesus should be a guide to other people. It's whatchamacallit. It's how I try to operate. For instance, like, I pray every day. I don't know if I said it on this channel. I pray every single day that God sends someone's my way. Someone's. What the fuck? Someone that needs me.
You're just very, very Rhode Island right now. That's.
I'll go full of use. I don't know how thick my accent's getting. The more excited I get, my accent gets really thick, and I don't.
Oh, you've been pretty thick tonight.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so because let me tell you something. It's a lot of people have been noticing my accent this week, so much so someone at the restaurant was like, "Well, once you get used to here," I'm like, "I've been here 11 years," and they were like, "Oh," I'm like, "I know my accent's thick. I'm sorry," because I have my customer service voice, and I drop all of my accent then, and I say, "Hi, welcome to Star Sign Incorporated. How are we doing today?" But then afterwards, I go like, "Oh my God, how you doing?" Like, it just drops completely. But anyways, thick stream. What the fuck was I saying? Oh my God.
You were talking about how you were asking God to send you somebody that needs your help.
So, especially when I worked at the gas stations, I would have a lot of people who would come in, and after about 2 minutes, this was usually on a late night shift, they'd be like, "I don't normally talk to people this way." And I'm like, "I know." And all I would say is like, "I know you don't." And I would have people walk up to me when I was out shopping, still happens today, and they'd be like, "Something told me to come talk to you." And one woman even came up to me, and I'll never forget this, and it's the craziest thing. So this is when I was all bopo. Guys, no word of a lie. I was at a Chinese restaurant that I always went to. Never seen this woman before or since. She came up, she goes, "Can I come sit with you?" And I was like, "Okay." She sat next to me, and she held my hand. She goes, "God has told me you're never going to have that baby unless you lose weight." To this day, that always freaks me out. Because this 40-year-old black lady dressed to the nines just walks up to me and says this, and I'm like, okay. And I was just like, whew. But again, at the time, I was taking a lot of tests, but I've lost some weight, and then I had what I was telling you guys about earlier. So, it was just
promise. Yeah.
What a message! Like I will never forget that. And so it's like, again, you don't follow the signs.
That's not a sign. That's a fucking billboard that smacks you in the face.
But you sit there, you say to yourself, nah, that can't be true. But I literally sit there. That's a hell of a way to make someone lose weight, right? Like, never spoke to the bitch. She was just happened to be in the restaurant with me, and I was a lot less weight than I am now. So it's like stuff like that where you will get signs that God is there. There was a person I was friends with, and I didn't realize she was high on crack. Okay. And she was messaging me saying that everything was going wrong for her. And she asked if she can move in with me now. I need you to understand this, guys. She's on the West Coast. Right? She wanted to move in with me. And I was like, again, I pray for help. I asked God for a sign. I'm like, if I am supposed to do this, give me a sign. I don't feel comfortable. Everything inside me is screaming no. I walked the same path through my store that I always did. And it was a weird path. I'd never walk like the main walking point. I would do the zigzag through the furniture because I liked walking past certain furniture. And I don't know if this is an ADHD thing, and I would touch it as I went past.
It probably is. Or no, CDC.
Right. And I followed the same zigzag. As I had gone that zigzag a half hour prior to my lunch, I had prayed. When I came back, right in my path, and I'll explain the symbolism, was a penny that was not there before, and we'd had no guests in yet, with the head sitting up. Now, the reason why that's significant is because my mom's dad, my grandpa, collected pennies, loved them. And every time my mom would start thinking about my grandpa, we would go through the door and there would be a penny sitting face up. And it happened all the time. So I knew God was trying to tell me, hey, don't do this. I didn't, thank God. But it's just, so like you said, everyone experiences God differently. You might not necessarily get his direct intervention because it doesn't happen. But on a neural pattern, it's a neural. I get what you're saying, Desert Jack. Absolutely. It's crazy how you think about it.
Yeah.
But so I've had, when anybody tries to tell me that God doesn't exist, I've had so many things happen in my life, guys. You don't understand, so many things. This house is one of those situations where I literally followed that little trail of breadcrumbs God left for me. I would not be in this house if it wasn't for following little signs that I got. You just gotta learn to listen. And animals were one of that. Like, I've literally had, no word of a lie, guys, I have had animals approach me and knock on my fucking door. Out of all the apartments in my complex, out of all the doors, it came to my door and knocked. And then just walked in like it owned the place. I have my God, the look she's giving you. That is adoration. Dude.
This is Rudy. This is the boy.
Stop it. They look so similar. I hate it. To me, they look a lot alike.
Oh my God, they look so different.
The long fur is what throws me off. I see long fur.
Look at that face.
Yeah, when you hold him up like that, all I see right there is a little rag with fur hanging down. Look at him. But the adoration is still there.
Now it's gone from adoration to what the fuck are you doing to me?
He's like, stop that. If you guys ever picked up a dog and they don't want to move from where they are and they do that weird little arching thing where they're like shoving right back at you. Yeah, Greta does that. It's so weird. I fully believe it's a higher power, but I'm not really affiliated with a specific religion. You don't have to be. Yeah. They want to believe in backyard aliens, but not God, wild world. Right. And the thing is, this is where, again, I am unpopular. I believe in both. I believe it's extremely arrogant of people to believe that we are the greatest thing God could make.
Or the only thing God made. I mean, I literally had, when I was 14 years old, my grandparents sent me to visit, or my parents sent me to visit my father's parents in North Carolina. My grandfather was a pastor. We had just about a drop down, drag out fight because I don't remember how we got on the discussion, but they tried to tell me there was no aliens because it's not in the Bible. And I'm like, the Bible is a human centric book written by people. Of course, they're not going to be in there.
By God, but it was put. And the thing don't realize, unicorns and dragons are in the Bible. Okay, first of all, so that's the first thing, guys. Second of all, you have to remember that for the first like 4,000 to 5,000 years the Bible stories were made, they were word of mouth. They finally got put down in a written word, and that's fantastic.
And then we only picked some of them to put in the Bible. Don't forget that part.
There are dozens of chapters of the Bible that are in the Vatican admits it. The Vatican admits there are dozens of chapters that are of the Bible that are kept and we are not allowed to see. Toddlers can arch their backs like that too. Yes, that is very accurate. And they do, and it's so annoying. God will make some fall off their bike because their loose change will roll down the street and knock over a littered glass bottle, break it, and cause to pop your tire just so you don't get full-on T-bone. She's right. So that's essentially like the butterfly effect. And you don't realize it. Oh, let's see. This is because I was also sharing Rachel's story about the fire.
Mm-hmm.
No reasons like this is someone talk about like the Bible is meant to teach lessons, not to be followed word for word or nitpicked, right? And a lot of people sit there and go, well, there's certain things. Yes, I understand there are certain things that are contradictory or repeated. I get that. Again, we are talking dozens of countries, hundreds of cultures, thousands of years. And the thing is, God may be infallible. We are not.
We're not even particularly bright.
This is what is weird about Christians. They say only certain things can exist, but not others because man's word. Right. No, Dragzilla, when it's written, it sounds a little weird. But what Sleazy is saying is that humans are very arrogant in that way, where because we say it doesn't exist, it can't possibly exist. But this thing existed because it says it right there. Who said it's humanity? I don't know. I hate when people teach a whole sermon based on a few verses, right? Or they nitpick the verses. I've seen fire literally follow property lines, no fire break. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like there is so much about, and again, this is one of the reasons why I am so. Oh God, look at this poor boy. You guys want to see how hot it is in my house? This boy, you guys know how much he's obsessed with getting on me. He's choosing the chair. That's one of the reasons why I am so in tune with animals, because I do believe in a lot of ways our choices as humans has led us a lot astray from what God did for us. And we whatchamacallit, they are much closer to how God intended. Animals are much more in tune with the earth. They're much more in tune with natural disasters, what's good for their bodies, what they need. The only time animals really fuck up is when they start eating human food.
I'll be honest. Something I've been wondering lately is if how many eating problems adult humans have to do with the fact that as children, we are constantly forcing kids to eat outside what they would normally eat. You know, if your kid's not hungry, people sitting there forcing their kid to eat more. Eventually, that's going to have an effect. Eventually, they're not going to be able to determine when they're not hungry or not anymore because they're always told to eat more.
They actually say, so it's along those lines, but not quite, but you're right. So they said the problem is a lot of kids these days are introduced to highly processed foods very early. They're introduced to refined sugar really early, dyes, foods they're not supposed to be eating, and highly addictive foods. So I did a lot of research on this for videos that I have never released. I've still got several of them. It's really crazy. And it's the same thing with animals. Why do I harp about not... Why is my camera so far off? There we go. Okay. when I harp about eating Beneful or Science Diet or anything crappy like that, the reason why I don't like it is because it messes up your animal system. I'm over here planning to buy a baby food maker. Right, exactly, Faye Queen. So because when you look at these, so they put in things that are cheap fillers. So theoretically, it's a healthy diet. Theoretically, it fills your dog and it's nutritionally balanced. However, if you've ever seen My Cousin Vinny, Matt will start. I'll be in the middle of doing nothing. ADHD moment. I'll be in the middle of doing nothing. You know what Starman likes to do? Hi, James. I got your pictures. He sends me whenever he hangs out with our mutual friends. I get photos in my inbox. But whatchamacallit? He likes to get me going. He likes to see if I pass the vibe check, if you will. My husband likes to see if he can get me to sing. And if he can't get me to sing, my husband likes to make me quote my favorite movies. Or at least my favorite scenes. And if you've ever seen My Cousin Vinny, look up My Cousin Vinny, the courtroom scene. Guys, one of my favorite scenes in movies ever made. It's beautiful. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we go, however. And so that's what he'll do. He'll start saying it. But anyways,
going think back. I'm hostile now. You wait till you see me tonight.
When I get home. Oh, she's my fiance. Well, that explains the hostility. It's such a good movie. Right? Isn't Horace Harrison? You get in full frame, bitch. Let him see it.
I'm watching the I took his wrap off for a minute. Huh?
Why? It's Vietnamese for why?
Oh, because I wanted him to give him a chance to lick his balls before I put another one back on him.
Let the
but I also don't want him to run off and potentially cause me a problem, like, I don't know, puppies.
No, we don't, NT. It's just a you thing, but that's cute. I like that.
Now, what about my hair?
I saw how cute it was, bitch.
Oh, yeah. It came out really nice today. I don't know what's up.
Because you're cute.
Okay, he's still licking himself.
But anyways, so a lot of the times when you look at these, they've got legumes, they've got peanut, they have all these different things.
Have fun.
Have fun, James, that are not normal to a dog's diet. Corn is a big one. Soy is a big one. And then you've got the meats. And the problem with the meats is they don't use quality. And they use the parts that are non-nutritional. Like, here's the thing. Organ meat is very cheap. They don't use organ meat. No, instead they will use, like, diseased and rotting flesh. Just like the skin or the fat. Because that's cheaper. And so this is the problem that you have with a lot of dog food. If they use primarily grounded up organs, dogs would be so much healthier. But if you notice, so many dog breeds have illnesses and issues that wild wolves and wild dog breeds do not have.
So many skin allergies.
Oh my God, skin allergies. Origin, I don't know enough about origin, Mizan. But I will look it up and find out. I really need to do a deep dive on all of the dog brands and release the video about it. But when I tell you guys, that is a very intensive research because, and maybe Horror and I will split it and we'll release a video about it. What do you think? We're like,
I mean, we can try to.
It's worth a shot. Like, it's, you have no idea. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, why are they in everything? Because they're cheap and they're easy to get. But that's one of the reasons why it's okay if I take food home from the restaurant. Nothing is highly processed. We're 98% scratch made. So if I take something home, it is fresh chicken. It is fresh fish. It is fresh vegetables. It's freshly made rice. I am not having this food that was processed in a facility, seasoned in a facility. Like the other day, she and I went to a seafood market here in town. I bought tilapia. I was very upset to realize it was rehydrated tilapia.
Ooh.
Now, yeah, and you know what I'm talking about with the texture difference. The flounder also was a little better, but I think that was rehydrated too. So what rehydrated is that it gets put into a salt slurry and it shrinks down. And so then when it gets soaked again in water and rehydrated, it soaks out a lot of that salt, but the texture isn't right. And neither of them felt right. I was very upset. I got better quality fish from Walmart in the freezer section.
Ooh.
And so I was like, well, I'm never getting fresh fish from there again. And mind you, they had whole fresh fish. But I researched, I'm not talking about the old Judas. What are you talking about, Dragzilla? All right, guys, no fighting in the chat over this stuff. I don't want to turn into anger. We usually have a pretty chill chat. Let's not start that up. I brought out a Cocker Spaniel that kept having seizures. It was the dog food causing it. Exactly, Annie. Exactly. There are also a lot of farms that so you can get fresh produce. Exactly. Like, here's the thing, guys. Anywhere you live, you are near farms. Okay? So you don't need to delete it, Sleazy. Just, let it go, guys. No need to delete. Just no more fighting, kids. We're meant to have fun here. I need to spank the people. They're not even on Twitch, babe. They're on YouTube. They're just on horror side.
Yeah, they're on my YouTube.
But exactly. So here's what I will tell you guys. It's super. There's a reason why I don't get a lot of vet bills. I almost never have to take my animals to the vet. The only one I have to is this asshole over here. And that's because when he gets highly stressed, he blocks his entire penis and doesn't pee. Well, actually, he pees too much. Then he creates a mucus plug in his penis. And then he nearly dies.
And that's why we had my Spooky's penis chopped off.
Honestly, he nearly became a trans cat.
Yeah, no, Spooky became one of the first trans cats.
The only reason why I'm really not concerned, he's a very healthy 10-year-old cat. That's the craziest thing. Like, almost all my cats are over 10. Like, with the exception of Calliope, Sinbad, and I think Athena. Because Athena's essentially mine at this point. It's whatchamacallit. Huh?
I think Vincent might be getting up on 10.
I need to fight.
He's not 10. He's going to be soon. Wow.
It's really crazy when I realize how old all my animals are getting. And the thing is, none of them look their age. And the only reason Zorro does is because he busted his hip. If Zorro had never busted his hip, he would look so young. It's crazy. And so it's like, you have to look at what your animals are eating. Put a lot of organ meat into their diet. Look into right now, what I'm about to start doing, it's going to cost me a pretty penny to get all the stuff. So just Zorro got that nightly supplement. But I realized how much it helped him. I had to stop because I ran out of some ingredients. What I'm going to do in the next few weeks is I'm going to buy a bunch of ingredients and I'm going to supercharge his treat and spread it out amongst all the adults. Get started early. I'm going to get dental drops. I found these drops that are good for their teeth. I found joint and glucosamine for them. I'm going to start putting... I found out, now I haven't gotten concrete evidence of it. Apparently egg white is not good for cats in high amounts. But egg yolk is fantastic. So I have stopped using the quail eggs because it's very hard to split a quail yolk. Very hard. Try. Quail shells are so hard. Like, you gotta whack them. I had a cat called PT, short for Putty Tat.
Oh, Putty Tat.
Lived to be 14.
I taught Putty Tat.
Oh. See, Zorro's gonna be 15 this summer. I will say, though, this heat, he cut up his throat all over here. Because I think he got a little tiny nick, and it's hot. Everyone's uncomfortable. All the animals lay down all the time in whatever flat, cool surface they can find. And Zorro has been all over me. And I think he got a little itchy, cut himself up, and now it's all across here. So I've been putting salt on it, and I'm putting antibacterial ointment, and now his fur looks all yucky on his throat as a result. But he picked a corner of my bed, and that was his spot till his dying day. Zorro's spot is essentially on me. But when I'm sitting up and talking, it's too uncomfortable for him. His hip has been hurting more, though, so I keep saying it. I just got to take the time. I've got to schedule the kittens for their packages, so that way I get their shots and everything done. Because now that I know Orion is less reactive to them, you're going to start making fan edits of me. Oh, God. You and Chaco, I'm scared. Them cat claws. Yeah, well, if you want to talk about cat claws, I've got right there. Let me see. Have I healed up? I was covered in cuts this week. Covered. And I've got some down my back because Arya, now mind you, I sit here in a tank top. Arya loves to sit right on my butt, between me and a chair. That's her thing. Great. The problem is Arya doesn't start from the side. No. She climbs up my chest and goes down my shoulders. And doesn't just drop and let herself fall in. Nay. She has to make sure that she skids her way down.
Oh, God.
So, it hurt. But what are you going to do? Well, Faye, I look forward to it. You should honestly talk to Chaco. She's going to have the most clips. That woman has the most clips. His very pastime included sitting on my shoulder for his parrot impression. Oh, Zorro was a shoulder cat in his youth as well. I found this photo. Actually, let me see if I can send it to you, Horror. So, remember how I told you guys I had the cats trained to sit and wait on command? I found photo evidence of it. This was a long time ago. Let me see if I've got it easily down. There we go. So I've told you guys about Bob. Let me show you. I'll make sure I don't have anything else up. So there's Zorro and Bob back in the day. Notice how they're sitting right beside their little bowls and waiting very patiently for their food. And then I took the flash because I thought it was hilarious. So this was my second room in my apartment. And these were the bean bags that I had. The cats love to lay on those. And I only needed 2 cat boxes at the time. And this was their room for all their stuff. This was back when I only had 2 animals. Oh, so long ago. And yeah, claws sliding down skin. Oof. It was painful. Tried to, yikes, that had to hurt. But yeah, so this was back when Zorro was much more, in some ways, well-behaved. And this is Bob right there. Close as adult tights. Yeah, okay.
Laser eyes. Your cat has finished charging, ma'am. You can unplug him.
And Bob, as you can see, Bob was a Maine Coon. He was thicker than Zorro. And he had a bigger head, too. He was like double Zorro's weight. In this picture, Zorro's like 10 pounds or 11 pounds. And Bob was 20. He was all muscle. That cat was all muscle. But this was the pre-prep problem, right? Well, here's the problem, right? This is back when I had the cats trained to sit and wait. And up until Penny, I had that training. And then once Penny came around, have a good night, Faye Queen.
Good night, Faye.
Wait, that was not what I wanted to click. There we go. There's where it is. The chat keeps moving on me. It's annoying.
That's what they do, yes.
But that was them back in the day. That was in 2013, that photo. So, and Zora was already like 4 or 5 years old in that photo, I think. But now you guys know what Bob looks like. I don't know if I ever showed you guys Bob before.
I don't think so.
I might be able to show you one other photo. Hold on. And it'd be easier if I do it this way. So that way. Because he was a truly beautiful cat. He really was. Let's see. Save to phone. Yep, I can. I can do what I intended. Please hold. Let me. So there's Bob. Just being Bob. He loved to lay on his back and just expose his stomach. And his favorite spot was the back of the couch underneath my little clock I had. So I had a wall clock that if you look, the one at the 6 is Matt's mom and stepdad, and then the 7 is my niece. These were all, this is all 2013, 2014. Just like, I loved that clock. I hate that it broke. So annoying. Because the clock itself was a freestanding two-handed clock, and then you could put up the photos or numbers. I saw it on Pinterest and I loved it. But so that was Bob. That was my boy back in the day. What you looking at, woman? You so quiet.
I was honestly double checking the ingredients of the current dog food I feed my dogs.
I sent her down the path.
Well, I got to thinking about it, and it's been a while since I looked. And since the last time I looked, we've determined that Grace has a chicken allergy.
Oh, I hate it.
I just realized that the dog food I feed her has chicken fat in it.
Oh. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't even realize it. And see, the kittens had a chicken allergy. I don't know if they've got it anymore, but that's one of the most common allergies. Why? Because a lot of the chicken that is fed has too many hormones. This is what I'm talking about.
Well, and then to top it off, so many dog foods have chicken in them. Getting a non-chicken dog food that doesn't also have like corn in it is rough. So right now I'm looking at something that might be a little more expensive going forward. And right now we're not exactly eating cheap already.
I'm looking up because someone asked me. I'm gonna look up the origin dog food.
I was just looking at that one.
We both have the same idea. All right, let me see. So I'm going on Chewy. Someone asked me, so let's look this up. Let's see. All right, where's the ingredients? All right, so the first, I've told you guys before. Normally I'm not, I don't know how I feel about this. All right, so here's the problem that you have here, and I know what Hara is going to say when she hears me listed. So the first 5 ingredients are the most important. Now, ready for it. Beef, wild boar, lamb, pork, beef liver, beef meal, lamb meal, mackerel meal, heron meal, pork meal. Those are not so bad. The meals are not the greatest, but not so bad.
Yeah.
Whole red lentils, pinto beans, navy beans, green lentils, whole chickpeas. These are all whole. That's a lot of legumes.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
the one thing I like about the dog food I've been feeding them, there's really only one grain-like substance, and that was red lentils. And it was just the red lentils. There wasn't like a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right. And then after that, they've got whole herring, pork liver, beef fat. This is a truly there is no chicken. Pork kidney, beef tripe. So see, this one, I will say this, they didn't go the cheap route of using. So this one is, they got collards, whole apples, whole pears. I hope they at least cored out the seeds.
Yeah. There's one ingredient I'm seeing that I'm not sure about it, and that would be ground flaxseed.
See, I've used flaxseed in my dog's food, so I don't see anything wrong with that. I personally add flaxseed in, which is really good for their skin and coat.
Well, it makes me feel better about the food I was feeding them, minus the fact that it's got the chicken fat in it. And maybe the chicken fat's not that big a deal. I don't know, because she really doesn't have too much problem. But I would still rather switch her to something else just to be sure.
I would say this: chicken fat on its own is a filler, and so it's not as great. I would prefer they filled it with organ meat, so I will say this: Origin does use a lot of legumes. However, that's their only fault. Like, that was a truly chicken-free. If you do not want chicken, there is no chicken in it. And they didn't just use pork, like flesh or pork.
Right.
They used the liver, the kidneys, the tripe. So I will say this. But wait, is a dog allergic? Dogs can be allergic to chicken, especially if they are hunting dogs. Yep. If they are dogs that are retrievers, if they are water dogs, they have a higher chance of having hunting dogs. They all have a higher chance of being allergic to poultry as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And that has part to do with the fact that they were not allowed to eat poultry for a long time. And when it was reintroduced into their systems, it was very processed, had a lot of bad diet, which then made it's a whole thing. What you were saying?
Well, I'm looking at this Instinct Raw Longevity.
Let me see.
And they've got beef liver, beef kidney, beef spleen, beef heart, ground cod, yellow squash, apple, carrots, ground miscanthus grass, whatever that is, ground flaxseed, Mont Morillite clay.
I use Instinct, especially their little, like the raw bits they put on top. Mm-hmm. My dogs go ape shit.
And then fish oil, spinach, broccoli, blueberries, cranberries, vitamin, and then a whole list of vitamins, potassium, chloride, salt, yeast cultures, taurine, minerals. I mean, I might pick this up. I don't know.
I will tell you that I love Instinct. Instinct, Castor and Pollock. Let me see. I'm going to look up Castor and Pollock. I don't know if you know that one.
I had before fed them an Instinct kibble or raw and kibble at one point. I don't remember why I switched.
Castor and Pollux is one of Greta's favorite. Let me tell you that, guys. She goes crazy for it. And Castor and Pollock, let me see. So, and this is exactly why I read it. So, like, grain-free chicken, sweet potato recipe. Let me see. Where is the ingredients? I think I had it.
I will tell you, Rachel, with the small dogs, especially having kibble to help clean their teeth is extremely important, just because they build up stuff really fast. Otherwise,
the small dog brand. This is all right. So this is where this one is the first 5 ingredients. This one has a little more stuff in it than I would like, but this is not their this is not their whole meat version. But so organic chicken meal, organic sweet potatoes, organic peas, tapioca. This I'm stopping with the organic because everything's organic. Chicken fat. See, again, so you got to be careful with that. Sunflower seed meal, pea protein, natural flavor, flaxseed, sunflower oil, chicken liver, blueberries. So again, these are pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me see. I'm trying to get the one that has the freeze dried meat in it. Because the one that, I think this is it right here. Hold on, let me see.
Because I was having problems getting it from the pet store.
Well, you got to go to PetSmart.
Oh, no, that's where I had been getting it, and they stopped having it.
Well, see, that's why Sleazy, like, I know it's going to sound crazy. Going to the Mexican markets and going to the Asian markets is the best place to get some dog food for your dog.
Yeah. Because I live in Montana.
Yeah. Like, now you live near a lot of ranches. Wouldn't they sell the organ meat?
I mean, they probably sell straight up organ meat, yeah, but I'm honestly not too much into having to cook myself dinner and my dog's dinner.
Well, see, that's the benefit. I would not cook.
Though
if I was doing this, let me see.
Though I mean, we're about to end up changing how we're feeding them soon, so.
Yeah, again, so like this is the good thing, like we were talking about. A brand that if they tell you it's no chicken in it, it's no chicken. This is what I like. And so, like, that's the main thing you need to worry about. First 5 ingredients are the most important. The least amount of grains or legumes that you can find, the better. But I will say, at least if they're whole, if they are whole legumes, they're not like part of the legume or the husk or anything. These are good, and they can be fine in small doses. I would highly recommend, if you're going to get any organ meat, okay, freeze it for at least a week, because that kills a lot of parasites.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, for instance, when you buy sushi, sushi grade just means it's been frozen for 74 hours. So a lot of folks don't realize when you have sushi that is raw, you have probably eaten a parasite at least once.
I'm sure I have.
Oh, yeah. By the way, hi after 40. When I, oh, by the way, horror, I was in front of a Sam's Club today. And the only reason we didn't get to go in is because the Asian market, I didn't know if I could get the free 1-day pass to try it. Horror told me about pumpkin spice empanadas at Sam's Club.
Did I tell you about the pumpkin spice pecans?
No! Imagine me making a pumpkin spice dip from pumpkin spice cream cheese and pumpkin spice pecans for my pumpkin spice empanadas. With a pumpkin spice coffee and a pumpkin spice, I have all these items, a pumpkin spice English muffin with pumpkin spice butter. I could go full basic bitch.
She will be the most basic of bitches.
I will be like the supreme. For instance, tomorrow, my little cheat tomorrow, supposedly that is when the Wendy's pumpkin spice comes out.
What? Wait, what? When Wendy's pumpkin spice what?
Frosties.
Oh dear God, no.
So I please don't. No, I will. I will. You don't understand, guys. Anyways, back to what I was saying. When it comes to the food, if you freeze it and then grind it up, because it's how dare you, sleazy? How dare you all? I don't. The other day, all right. So I was scrolling through Instagram, and one of the Jonas Black, the dog trainer that I like, he wrote, "Yo, you don't need another pumpkin spice latte," and he wrote something about dogs, and I said, "Sir, I do not require this violence in my life." He laughed. He wrote back. He laughed at it. I'm like, I don't need this violence in my life. I'm about to ruin her day by sipping some sweet potato bread. Listen, sweet potato bread is just fine. It's okay. It imitates what I love. The floof is happy with her breakfast chicken thigh, a bit of chicken skin. Right. And again, do you have to have all of it? Because in the wild, they would eat the fat, the skin, all of that. So you have to have that. As a matter of fact, there is this brand called Ugly Chews. Have I talked about it before on here?
Sounds familiar.
It is literally the entire upper layer. Ow. I think I was it. That hurt. It's the entire upper layer, including the fur.
Yeah.
So they dehydrate it and your dog eats that. And that's what's helped with their skin.
Well, we can get full on, going to the store here, you can get a full on cow's ear freaking fur and all.
Right. I want that for the dogs. And I want to order them. They're a little, so I'm waiting. But
duck heads too. You can get whole duck heads and legs.
Oh yeah. And see, and again, if you've got a good enough blender, get those things and grind them up for your dog's food.
Pretty sure I'd be shot if I put those in my blender. Just saying.
It's I have a Ninja, which are really good at that stuff. But if you have a strong knife, you can cut up into little pieces and then put them in the blender. But anyways, my point is this: I very much am an advocate for that. I have not been able to do it mainly because I don't have a big enough freezer. I have to buy a big stand-up freezer. I'm going to buy a lot of organ meat Because I have Asian markets I can go to, and there's a Mexican market here in town, and they sell the intestines, they sell the lung, they sell the stomach. Originally, I was dehydrating them, but what I'll do instead is I'm going to stick them in the freezer, and then yeah, I don't have a KitchenAid or a food processor.
I do have a food processor.
I need to, so I really. All right, I'm going to sound, I don't know if this sounds scrounger or not. When I worked for Linens and Things and it was shutting down, a lot of you don't realize what associates did was we hid shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was going on to 95% off. I hid a very nice Pro KitchenAid for my mother. I bought it for like $60. It was brand new. My mother is no longer here. My father does not cook. I've asked several times, can I have that KitchenAid? I don't know why my dad keeps saying no. My dad cooks, but he don't KitchenAid cook. He don't bake. My dad don't make the shit that mom and I made. And I know for a fact it would break because my mother had her KitchenAid for years. She had one of them old school 1970s white one, and that thing still works. But the one from 2008 works a lot better. Because KitchenAid ain't shit. They're one of those few brands they ain't changed shit.
No,
KitchenAid,
not really.
Like, your KitchenAid should last forever. And I want mine. I want that one because I want to buy the pasta edition. I want to buy the meat grinder because I would like to do all that. And my mother, I know, is sitting there going, your father, such a murder. Well, gotta hold on to this shit. My mom was such a shit talker. But so, like, I know I want it because, like, my mom got me this Cuisinart little hand mixer. Wonderful item. She also got me a inversion blender. I haven't been able to use any of them because I need all the stuff together, do all the stuff. So if during my cooking stream you see a silver KitchenAid on my counter, guys, you know that I won. You know that I won the day.
I would just, like telling him all the stuff you want to bake for him that your mom would have helped.
I don't like it. So my dad, for instance, this was the kick in the teeth. But when Starman and I were talking about adopting a couple of years ago, and we still plan to once this house gets updated, my dad looked me point blank and said, I'm not interested in being a grandparent if your mom's not involved. Okay? Now, I want you to put that in your mind. He looked right at me and said, I would not care. He said, I'll treat the kid nicely, I'll love it, but it's not the same. Oh, then he found out my brother was expecting. Oh, and then it's, I'm a grandpa. And I looked at him and I said, I thought you didn't care about being a grandparent.
It's always different until they find out.
But it was just like when we were in the talks of actually looking to adopt a kid, my dad, I've gone through all the system. We've had our fingerprints run. We've had our background checks run. All of that. So technically, at any time, we could. Because all we got to do is get the home check. All I got to do, boom, I've got I technically have the other room. So at any time, I could do that. So it's like, again. So I said to him, I was like, that was kind of a stinger. Well, now all talk is about the baby. All talk. So that's where I will definitely guilt my dad. And I'll be like, Dad. But that's why, so like with the food, if I say I will make mom's recipes, my dad will just look me square in the face and say, it's not the same. He's like, it's not what your mom made. And it's the truth. My mom has all her old recipes, and I would love to get that book. But my dad doesn't even want me to go through some of her clothes that I would fit in. My dad is very much, I will live in the past until I'm ready to move forward kind of person. And so it was the love of his life, so I let it go and all that. My mom had her first successful dog breeding, told everyone she's a grandma. They stopped, looked from her to me, and I'm standing there like, I'm 12.
It's okay. I tell my mom she's a grandma all the time. She's got 2 fuzzy little grandkids sitting downstairs.
My mom used to call herself. My mom all the time would call herself grandma to my animals, all the time.
My mom hates it so much. I get a dirty look every time.
Right now she's giving you a dirty look somewhere because
she's giving a dirty look to the TV.
MamaRata, you know that you love being grandma to them puppers.
She's starting to stream.
Huh?
She's starting to stream. We got her office set up. She was on the midweek hump for a little bit.
Nuh-uh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I missed this.
It was a last minute surprise thing that we set up, so I forgot to tell anybody else about it. Plus, it was a surprise, so we didn't want a whole bunch. I didn't want to spread it out too far in case, it was to surprise Jax.
Didn't want it. Oh, how did he like it? Did he like the surprise?
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
I'm sure he was thrilled.
What did you guys talk about the whole time? Was it like you and me?
Oh, no, it wasn't like that. No. She sat back because she actually felt bad about doing it in the first place because we had a planned guest and she didn't want to overshadow the guest. So she sat down. I mean, she did participate and we talked about general stuff and it was a lot of fun. But she's going to start doing her own streams soon. So
I'm excited. Yeah, I don't know if you guys realize it. Part of the reason that Hara and I do this is because whenever I get on the midweek hump, especially before we started doing this, she and I we would say something about an animal and we'd latch onto it. And then she and I would be going off. We'd take over the whole fucking stream, talk about God knows what about animals.
And we still do. It's just not necessarily always about animals now.
It's not as bad because now I can be like, we'll talk about it Monday. Like, that's what we did last time. Be like, Monday. And Stars and I've been too busy, right? I really have. And that's like going back to what I was talking about earlier. My boss and I have talked about it, and we're just going to try to figure out a way that I can, because her words to me were, we got to get creative with you. She's like, I love the bond I have with my boss. Genuinely, she was ready to let me put aside the restaurant, even though she really does need me there. She was ready to let me only be there 2 days a week, if that, so I could get more pay with my second job. Because we were talking about $2,000, $2,500 a month with her, which would be absolutely fantastic. And then I would, whatever I make through YouTube and whatever I make through the restaurant would just be
extra.
Thank you. Couldn't think of that word. Bonus is what I was trying to say, I think.
Gravy.
So, right? But it's right out the window. And so when she said to me too, she's like, we got to get more creative. We got to get your stuff going. And I know for a fact that if I said to her, now granted, I wouldn't get paid for it, but if I said to her, listen, I can't come in this week, I've got to do this, that, she wouldn't even question it. Like, it would not be well, we really could use you, as long as there's like, obviously I wouldn't screw her over by like, we've got 3 events and hundreds of reservations, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm not coming in this week. That's not what I would do. But working in a restaurant was the worst. I will tell you, I've said it to my boss. I hate working in restaurants. I hate it. Understand this for what it is. I don't like the food industry. You smell like food all day long. No matter what, you come home soaked in either sweat or water because I'm the dishwasher. So I'm waterlogged from the tits down every night.
Sometimes both.
Or ridiculous. I hate handling people's food. I like cooking for my friends and family. That's great. I do not like being in food sales because let's say you have a day where somebody sprayed roach spray and all the roaches run into the restaurant. You're not at fault, but no, that doesn't matter because it's going to look like it's your fault. Then everyone starts saying that place is dirty, that place is this, that place is that. Let's say you tempt it off by only a few degrees. Someone's going to complain about that. It's so stressful for me. These are the scenarios, these made up extreme scenarios that I think of when I go into the restaurant every day. And then you've got people, what'd you say, Sleazy? Oh, the deep fried gumbo burritos are delicious though. Right. I don't eat gumbo. and I barely eat burritos. So I'm a weird.
She doesn't do spice.
Again, like my boss would look at me and go, "Why are you so weak?" I never wear a binder to be a dishwasher. Right. I am so short. I have to hang over the sink. So I'm bent over the entire time I'm washing. And I am well endowed. So my boobs are like a few inches above the water. And if you've ever been a good dishwasher, you know that no matter what you do, water's going to get on you. But especially if you got big old boobs, you're going to have a big old bra that's essentially a big old sponge. It's real fun. And so there's just, I get very stressed about it. We've had a lot of guests lately that have not tipped at all, but will ask for a lot of extra special things and extra care. So,
of course.
Right. And the thing is, our waitress, we'll call her Jess. Okay. Our waitress, Jess, she is fantastic. She worked at multiple restaurants. She's very quick on her feet. She is this little wispable woman with a powerhouse personality, sweet as pie. She always tries to please the guest. And no matter what she does, a lot of these people have zero appreciation for it. Zero. And one of them even held her hand and said, "You know what? I know that was tough because we had a really difficult guest that day." She said, "I just want to say that you work so hard and I'm really appreciative of what you do and you did everything right." She left a $0 tip. Giving compliments is great, but it don't pay my bills, bitch. And so nightly sponges, exactly, Dragzilla.
Is North Carolina one of those states where you can pay tipped positions less?
You can pay tip positions 0. Like, they can work 100% tips here.
Holy shit.
Now, I will say this. Sometimes Jess will walk away with $300 a night.
Yeah.
Sometimes she walks away with 12. So, but she works for 2 restaurants. So, she does balance out. I am a hourly position, but I Tom Brady myself.
Right.
And if you guys don't know what that means, so Tom Brady, when he was on the Patriots, he took pay cuts every year so that way the roster could get filled with better players. So I never asked for a raise, ever. I joke about it sometimes. I'll be like, "You didn't give me a raise. Aren't I valuable?" I'll say that. But then the thing is, my boss will lend me her car whenever I need it. She'll forward my pay whenever I need it. Like, so, you know, and the thing is, unlike most places, my boss will at least try to balance out at the end of the week. If Jess did not make enough every day, she tries to balance it out so Jess at least made $100 a day. So we calculate everything she made, and if it doesn't come out to $100 a day, she gives her that. So
that's good.
My boss is a very fair woman, and that's one of the reasons I call her my boss now. She wasn't always my boss, but that's one of the reasons why I am willing to work in a restaurant, because I know with my boss that, one, Sleazy, you've clearly worked in a restaurant. I'll ask you, how often do you work in a restaurant? You're allowed to take food home for free as much as you want, make food on site for free, and no questions asked. You don't have to, like if it's the most expensive thing, obviously you gotta be like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a piece of salmon. Hey, I might have a gator," something like that. I've worked for restaurants. They'll give you a 15% discount. You might be able to get what a customer wouldn't eat. That ain't the same thing. Sure.
I think a lot of it depends on the type of restaurant too, though.
Well, see, the thing is, I've worked for small businesses, I've worked for large businesses. Even when I worked for small ones, you had to pay. You might get, like, if they made extra fries, you could get the extra fries. And you might be allowed one meal. No. In my job, if you work opening and close, you can come in an hour early, cook whatever you want for yourself for breakfast. During lunch, you can cook your food, eat that for lunch. And then during the nighttime, you can cook your food, take it home for dinner. And when my boss used to live above the restaurant, she would sometimes cook out of her own pocket. Short ribs, because she's Asian. So, she'd make this whole meal, and then the whole crew would sit down together and eat. So it's like, it saved me. It has saved me hundreds of dollars. I've got 5 containers in my fridge right now of food from the restaurant that I've personally cooked. And it's just so much easier. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm there, if I want something grilled or broiled or anything like that, I do that on my own. So that's why it's like, I'm willing to here. I will not work for another restaurant ever again. It's her or nothing. Because I would say that when I worked for the mattress store, I'd be like, oh, I love this. I don't go home smelling like ranch. I don't go home soaking wet. 2 years later.
Right back in it.
Right back at it. But I will say, like, the whole town knows who the hell I am now. And we were just talking about that earlier today as well. I was like, I avoid being a bitch now on the road. And she said, why? I'm like, because if someone's turning down the road to the restaurant, I'm like, shit, they might be a customer. Put you back down. And you go away for now. You'll come out on the highway. And so it's like, I'm very careful as a result, because a lot of people, they see me. A lot of people ask if I'm the owner. And it's because these are the two things everyone confuses me with. They think I'm the owner, and I think it's because they will see me run around and they see me take care of some stuff. But sometimes it's just they assume I'm the owner just because I'm there. Because I'm fat. I'm like, no, that's not me. I am not the owner of the restaurant. And the owner's husband is black. Okay? And this man is like 6'2". And he and I are very good friends. Like, we joke around, we're pains in the asses to each other. And I get immediately, even with Starman there in the restaurant, oh, is that your husband? I'm like, not even a little bit.
This sounds right.
Not even close. Like, and he laughs. Like, at first he thought I was lying, and I'm like, just because I'm fat doesn't mean I gotta sign my quota of black men. Like, okay, no offense, horror, but
I got my black man. I'm good.
But it happens so often. People assume my husband must be black, and I'm like, fat men like white fat women too.
Yeah. I've dated them. They were Italian.
Right. Well, yeah. Shit, she got me there. Starman's Italian. I can't say nothing. She right, but.
Two demographics you can reliably count on chasing the chubby: black and Italians.
It's so true. Has he done a 23andMe yet? He might be, right? Who knows? Who knows? But it's just so funny that chubby. I get it all the time, Dragzilla. When I tell you, because a lot of times my boss she is a go-getter. Okay, so like she literally for the month of July flitted around the entire fucking country. She was driving from Ohio. She was driving to Florida. She was driving to South Carolina. I'm like, bitch, sit down. And so we were, whatchamacallit, me and her husband and some of the staff were, working the shifts and filling in spots and everything. And so me and her husband were working very close. And he's a techie, so he handles a lot of the tech side of different things. So we're sitting there and we're trying to figure out, because we didn't have things coded right in the system. And so we're talking, and I lean because I got big old boobs and a big old belly and a big old butt, and my back hurts. So I will lean over and I'll be like, okay. And I'm talking to him. And then afterwards they'll be all cute, like, is that your husband? I'm like, no. Can't I be nice to a dude without me being married to him?
Right.
So They thought the same thing about my husband's best friend sometimes. Some people think he's my man. I'm like, that's why I worry when I drive Tom home. I don't let him sit in the back, because then I feel like it's going to look bad. And Tom is the quintessential teenager. This is what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the ride home. He puts in his earphones. You can always tell when someone's family doesn't expect them to interact when they're in the car.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Tom's family babies him in that way, because his automatic thing Earphones go in, he puts on whatever he wants, and he zones out the rest of the world. None of us exist. And so that's why it's almost like a little unicorn thing. When he'll be like, he'll come and he will offer a story to me, and I'm like, I'm listening. Because it's kids like that you can tell it's difficult for them. Like, again, I'll never forget when I came back from being sick, he went, "Hey, Cass, did you see my new shoes?" And I was like, it's so cute. It's like a little kid going, "I drew this. Look what I drew." And it was just, when he said it, he goes, "Do you like my new shoes?" And they were, because he was wearing dress shoes before. And I was trying to figure out how Tom was not falling flat on his ass every time. But he got these brand new Converse looking grip shoes for kitchens.
Nice.
And it was just so cute when he said to me, "Do you like my new shoes? Aren't they cool?" And I was just like, what's funny is I'm thinking, God, when I worked at the college, I had those same shoes. But yeah, so that's my little story. So it is 1:13, my darling. What would you like to do?
Great question.
I know it's not 1:13 for you.
And you also know I probably won't go to bed for another 3 hours. So you, on the other hand, it's like getting late for you, even though you had that nice long nap.
It is. And the thing is, so I want to try to get up early tomorrow before the stream, because I want to let the dogs out early. When I tell you guys, once you get in a pet routine, you get used to it, but don't do that. Miss, I'm going to be up for several more hours, starts to yawn.
I've been doing that all night. Are you kidding me?
But it used to be such a pain in the ass, because what we had to do, because Sinbad does not like going back in the crate. Okay? So what we would have to do is, I don't know if I told you guys, Sinbad and Orion ripped a hole in the couch.
Oof.
It's only about that big, but that is big enough for one, Axel, Penny, Arya, or Sinbad to climb in and hide on the inside of the couch, and for Orion to stiff half his head in. And so we had to start blocking this little hole, because I can't afford to get a new couch set yet. We're waiting till the house is bought. And then a couple of months after that, Starman and I are going to go to the newly built Ashley. And I know, I'm very excited, because they have the couch set that I want. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to order the set, then we're going to repaint the living room, get that like I have been waiting till I buy the house to do any niceties to it. So when you guys see me in my videos and you see that rip in the wall behind me, there is a strategic reason why I have not fixed that look. Because when they assess the house, I want them to see all the work I got to do to it. See? Thinking.
She wants to save that improvement for afterwards, when she gets to pay the property taxes.
Exactly. Because then if I ever want to sell the house, I'll make more money for all the improvements that I made from when I bought the house. Little thing. Anyways, so I found my couch set almost identical to the one that got destroyed on me. So what I'm going to do is, that's not how that works. Yes, it is.
Partly yes, partly no. But
anytime you update the house at all and you put any look into it, it shows less that you have to do to the house afterwards. So you can, my landlord and I are trying to make it so that way both of us make out good in this. Oh, I have this house, Dragzilla. I'm buying this house no matter what. But she and I have both made sure I've done nothing to the house, so that way once I get the house, then I can do stuff to it.
Then you get the benefits of all the improvements, as opposed to paying for them and then having to pay for them again.
Exactly. Like, we're going to improve the roof. We're going to improve we have a whole plan. But anyways, so yeah, I'm going to have to deal with this hole in the couch for a while, because it's hard to sew back up, because this is a really chintzy couch set that I got secondhand from somebody. And so what I would have to do every morning is I would take care of the kittens. Then the kittens are the easiest cats I've ever had to put in a crate, ever. The boys are obsessed with water. So as soon as I pour water, they rush back to the crate. Never have to force them to do anything. Most cats I've ever had, it's a fight. And you'll see what I mean, because then I have to collect all the adults. Athena doesn't like going in the crate. Calliope likes going in the crate because she has such high anxiety. If I go to chase her to put her in the crate, she then starts ping-ponging around the house. So I have to first prep the crate with food and water, have it all cleaned up and ready for them, and the door's open. So I would open the bedroom door, call the girls. Calliope, the only one reliably would come in, but then she might get scared and run back out. It's ridiculous. Athena would come up, jump onto the an amp that Starman has because he plays the bass, and she'd stare at her crate and contemplate if she's going to go in or not. And then I have to go find Sinbad. And if he goes in the couch, I won't get him out. It's the day. And so this would be an easy, depending on the day, 5 to hour long process.
Oof.
5 minutes to hour long, depending on where Sinbad would be. Now, I can have the kittens out for only 10 minutes. Feed them, and then I just let out the dogs. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it. So that already eliminates a lot of, like, I don't have to set up the crates. I don't have to convince the girls. And like this morning, when my boss called me and said she was going to pick me up. I finished going to the bathroom and I immediately just fed the cats. I fed them dry food instead of the normal wet food. And then as soon as the cats were fed, I walked over, put the dogs outside in their nice fenced-in yard, and then I took care of the kittens. Made it so much easier. I normally couldn't do that. So it's like, and now I know that I just have to turn off the AC for a few days when I introduce the kittens into the population. But they're already much better than Sinbad, because the girls have high anxiety. There's a fly attacking me. The girls have high anxiety, but they face off with Orion. They slap him across the face. He doesn't do anything. So it's. I feel good about it. So that's
good.
my little. I don't know what your process is with the animals every morning, but that's my process.
My process right now is I get up, I pick up Grace, I stick her in the kennel, I unwrap Rudy and let him have some free time with his balls.
Let them balls fly.
And then I rewrap him, and then I let Grace, after an hour or two, I rewrap him, and then I let Grace back out. Right now, the dogs are free feeding. That'll probably change after the thing. And the cats free feed, except for they get a can of cat food each at night.
That's the one thing we got to upgrade on. And I told them, I was like, because we only do 1 can for all the cats. I'm very big, because I use really high protein food. Excuse me. I have to get the bigger cans now. And that's something that I'm trying to get the other adults used to. Calliope has been pretty good with it. Athena, pretty good with it. Sinbad now, because he's afraid of Orion, he's the only one that triggers Orion's hunting instinct. Because Sinbad's so scared of him. I don't know why, but he is. And so with Sinbad, he goes and hides under the bed. Well, the problem is his panic to get under the bed gets him under there. But once he's under there, he really isn't too motivated to get back out. And so he's stuck under the bed the whole day. I'm like, this is just training one from another. So that's where. Oh, and Penny always gets fed on top of the fridge right now, which is why she screams at me from the top of the fridge. It's a whole process. The whole process. It takes a while.
Thankfully, the only cat that currently triggers the dogs is Vincent, and that's when he's running through the house to get himself out the back door. Other than that, since we rehomed Flynn, Alex can walk through the house as long as he's walking. Everything's fine. It's only when they start running that the dogs really,
they're hunting dogs.
Yeah, they are. They're ratters, so they have a tendency to go after things that move fast. Now, sometimes Sydney and the puppy Bruce will decide that they want to play with the cat, and the cat doesn't necessarily want to play with them, and that gets interesting.
Yeah, so Axel's a very playful cat, and Orion tries to treat him like a dog. That's the problem. So Orion will walk up to Axel and full on play bite him. And I'm like, bro, he fits in your mouth. And so Axel then gets an attitude, because the thing is, Axel's fine as long as he's on top. If Axel's the strongest in the fight, he's great. Clearly, in a battle between Axel and Orion would win. TikTok cat. What TikTok cat? I was so devastated by the recent TikTok cat losses, so it's good to hear your guys are doing well. What cat?
Apparently more than one.
Before we start wrapping up, that was something that was pretty interesting. I don't know if I talked about it. There was this girl on Instagram. Nala Meets World. She has a bunch of red cats. Let me see if I can show you guys. What happened to her was kind of rough. It had to do with a God Almighty. Come on, computer. Oh, this is the slaughterhouse. I'm seeing a video of the slaughterhouse rescuing those dogs I told you all about earlier, so that's great. No more meat dogs. Saved. Let me see. Nala Meet. Yeah, it is Nala Meets World. Okay. Hold on, I'm going to the page. Then I'm going to get on here. Share. So, this is Peach. So, as you see, most of her recent updates, these are her cats down here, right? So, from here, these are all her cats. She just adopted this little baby that looks a lot like Sinbad.
Mm.
And this is Nala. And this is her original orange cat. And she adopted Nala, and these two are in love. And then she adopted this one. But anyway, so Peach was a cat she found wandering outside. Okay? At first, she thought he was abandoned, but it turned out that Peach is a very aggressive cat.
Oh.
But he is... So what's wrong with Peach is he very much wants attention, but it's such a complicated story. He's an aggressive attention seeker, and he doesn't understand he's in a safe environment. We believe he was pulled from the mother too early. And this is why I don't believe in pulling dogs and cats before 12 weeks for this exact reason. Because they learn a lot from the litter and the mother. He doesn't understand what is a safe form of affection, what isn't. And so he has lashed out. He's attacked. He has drawn blood. And no matter what these folks did, like he would ask for attention and then growl when he got the attention. And so the problem with it is, and we were talking about this when we talked about that pit bull a few months ago, the one that had literally attacked a bunch of people and went to this rescue. And really, the dog's life will be miserable. We were talking about maybe it should be put down. With cats, it is a little easier, but hear me out. So she had the tough decision to decide whether or not, because she has 4 cats of her own. She had to make the tough decision that, because he attacks cats and people alike, is he to be alive, or do they have to put him down for the sake of, you know, his life? Because the old owners worked with her and told her about this. And a lot of people turned against her. There were other videos and photos of Peach. They're gone now. She took them down. So as you see right here, I deleted my post on Peach. I removed the GoFundMe from my page. I spent the last week of my life complete emotional turmoil due to the harassment and abuse. So many of you getting upset with me about a cat that I've only ever wanted to give a better life to. I am one person. We saw a cat on the street that asked for help. I raised money for his care. His owner did not take him to the vet to find out if his aggression was due to medical issue. So I was determined to do so to find a placement for him if he could rehabilitate him. He is a bottle baby. He was not a feral cat that needs to learn how to trust humans. He is in constant state of stress and was terrified outside. After thousands spent on diagnostics to determine if he does not have any medical reason for his aggression, he just lashes out and attacks with no warning. He attacked 4 people we know at this point. His foster family is concerned for their safety and no longer feels comfortable caring for him. Placing him in a home is dangerous as he is aggressive and unpredictable. It's easy for you all to watch his story through a screen and decide what is best for him. And believe me, I've done it myself. But it's important for you to trust that I'm doing everything I can to give Peach the best chance. I'm sorry this is not the happy ending you were looking for. Peach is still currently looking for a foster care, and there is no update. I have no answers. There is no right answer. But I want you all to know that those of you who have critiqued my every move, who have messaged me threats and made me insane accusations about me based off of me trying to help this cat, I hope you were never faced with a heartbreaking lose-lose situation like this and have to feel this way. To those of you who've reached out with me with nothing but support, thank you. And, you know, obviously, I gave my own 2 cents. And, but this is what she was facing. And after a lot of people reaching out, like, because I recommended, this is something that if you guys reach a situation, I highly recommend a feral run. And what a feral run is, it's an outdoor enclosure with an indoor option. So it's like, imagine a shed that is insulated with heating and air and has an outdoor, completely fenced in enclosure with access indoor, outdoor. That is what I recommended for Peach. Now, as you see, there are more updates, including him being in a container. He has been adopted by a woman who is specialized in aggressive cats and is willing to work with them. Like right here, let me see if the volume's on. Hey. So there was a video of him where he was growling from just that same kind of interaction. But this is where she brought everything back up. And they are they're redoing everything and helping him out. This is where it's the bad side of animal people, in my opinion. This is where animal people, and I sent her a message and I wrote that. I wrote her a private message and I said, animal people get very jaded, and they do. And the problem is when they get jaded like that, we don't understand what we're saying. I'm not excusing it. It's still not right. But they don't get what they're doing. When you attack someone who is helping and they're just trying their best, even if they're ignorant, even if they are wrong, when all you do is lash out and threaten them and everything, you potentially take someone who could help animals for a long time and you can make them bitter to helping at all. And she was at that point. You could see that is only one of the posts she made. She made several very upset posts. That was the most calm one she made because there was quite a few. And she was making a decision that a lot of rescuers know is a real decision. There are dogs that have to be put down due to aggression because you can't safely put them in a home. Mm-hmm. We talked about this. That dog that is literally, without warning, lashed out at people who have tried their best for it. Because these are animals that live in a constant state of thinking they are hunt or be hunted. They don't understand a good touch from a bad touch. And that's why being a bottle baby, you run this risk. Because the internet experts is an issue. I can tell you how many people that tell me I need to get another cat for Chibi. Be not safe for her or the new cat. And I'm one of the people that will say you should get a second cat. I don't believe in an animal being alone. However, if your cat is showing no negative signs of being alone, if they don't show any form of separation anxiety, things like that, then no, you don't need a second cat. I tell everyone with male cats, you absolutely should because they're ridiculous otherwise. But then you've got a case like Peach, where Peach lashes out at cat and human alike. So it's a very difficult situation, but if you find yourself in this situation, who hates other cats? Exactly. So see, this is what After 40 is talking about. And this is because Chibi did not get socialized enough. No fault on After 40's part. This is why it is so important for small young animals to be in a litter, to be with their own kind. Continue.
It's part of why I was so concerned about Bruce. He was the only puppy. Thankfully, I do have Sydney, who is close enough in age that while maybe not the same as playing with a direct sibling or, a direct litter mate, he still provided play and stuff for him And, I have the other dogs in the house too. So any puppies I have do have plenty of interaction with dogs of multiple ages and cats. And now it's progressed to the point that I'm starting to take Bruce to work with me like I do Sydney. So.
And I will tell you, like I say all the time, I've never had more balanced kittens. Bastion was the closest. Bastion was a very balanced kitten. And that's why I do believe these kittens are related to him, because they are so balanced. They're so well behaved. They're so good. And they're very happy. And I think part of that is all three of them have each other. And they're very closely bonded. They cuddle, they play very well together. So I'm that's one of the reasons why I'm not separating them. That's the benefit though, because they're not going to get littermate syndrome. What? Come on, come up. Hop.
Has he decided it's cooled down enough to snuggle?
I guess so. He just came over and he was like pushing at me. She was the only one. Right, and that's the thing. When you've got that, you've got to make that decision. Now, during COVID, a lot of animals and kids, but animals it shows more, because kids we excuse, oh, well, they're just not social. But with dogs, it's been a lot more obvious. With cats, it's been a lot more, I guess, sort of kind of more obvious. A lot of animals born in and around the pandemic show a lot of aggression, show a lot of problems and issues, training issues, fear issues, separation anxiety. Is he not like just so cute?
It's a pretty cat.
Oh, thank you, Sleazy. Yes. Remember to hit the like and subscribe for both of us and all that jazz. But yeah,
Sleazy.
Axel's a beautiful cat. Like, he's a gorgeous boy. He's all muscle, and he's very friendly.
Vincent is like that as well.
And this is the thing. Racism is real in cats. I know it's silly. Coloration usually doesn't matter in almost any other animal. In cats, it 100% matters. It is 100% related to, and a lot of people ask that because, like, so lately, I don't know why a lot of my comments on Instagram have been getting not a couple of likes, hundreds of likes. So, like, there is a comment on whatchamacallit, on Nala Meets World. The little cat that looks like Sinbad, she took her fiance to PetSmart during her adoption event. I said, hey, can you just hold this kitten? And while he was holding it, guess what she went and did?
Paperwork.
And I wrote laughs and searching animals that weren't supposed to be kept. I said, these husbands and fiancés never learned, once we cat ladies want the cat is ours. That one's got almost 1,000 likes. There's another one. There was this calico on an island that is a stray, but there's a lot of islands where these strays just remain strays, and the whole entire neighborhood just takes care of them. This calico came over and started like shouting at the person because she hadn't seen her in like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. Athena, stop doing that. He likes to bite my. Watch this. He's probably going to do it right now.
Yep.
Stop that.
Sydney does that to me. It's like he's trying to chew my fingers, but he's not really trying to chew my fingers. It's so fucking weird.
He will actively chew. Like, it's a recent thing. He started doing it to Starman, and then he did it to me. Excuse you. I'm not letting you do it. You want to bite your own paw. And so Calliope does it bad. And she has broken skin. So I'm sitting there. Athena was sitting next to me on the bed, and Athena started meowing at the calico in the video. And I said, and all I wrote was, I don't know what she said, but my calico sitting next to me started responding. So it was important. That one has almost 1,000 likes as well. Wow. I've got like several of my comments are rising up. And that's what I was going to say. Black cats are known for their personality and just friendliness, but also their mischievousness. Black male cats are little shits.
Black cats are a creature of their own. Mm-hmm. And I love them. I love black cats.
Red cats, there's this video of this red cat that I shared, and they are like stuck between being brilliant and stupid. Like, just like it was They were showing the video, and it was just like watching Nova for a minute. The cat was sitting there in her child's bedroom, screaming at decals on the wall. And then at one point, she showed a video. She's like, one time where he just stopped working, and the cat was like this. And he just sat there with his head sitting back, like, and then their overall, like, red cats are known for being just super, super friendly. And I will tell you, Sinbad, the most unproblematic cat we have. He does mistake sometimes that chasing is not play. So he pisses off Arya, he pisses off Daisy, and he definitely pisses off Penny. Because he does not understand that, no, you're not supposed to do that. He will walk up to Hendrix and try to be friends. And you can always tell, because he's trying to be friends, because he'll get down and he'll get on his belly and show his chin, and they don't care. And Dante literally walks up. Gray cats are always scheming, not daydreaming. Because I will tell you, gray cats are some of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say evil, because they're not evil, but they are intelligent. I've had my dad's gray cat, Johnny, if he likes you, it's perfect. If Johnny don't like you, he's a vicious motherfucker. And he would sit there on my bed in my room, and he would growl and snap at me in my bedroom. And I was like, motherfucker, we're gonna have conversations. But then after I moved out and I moved down south, when my dad and mom moved down south, Johnny was like, I was like, oh, what happened here? You mellowed out in the last few years. I do think the house played a role. Don't mess with Johnny Cakes. I call him Johnny Cakes. Yeah, don't fuck up with Johnny, because he's a very strong cat, very strong. But I will say that tuxedos are very conceited cats. They're very full of themselves. Gorian is just as bad as Zorro. He is very much independent, thinks highly of himself, but very sweet cat. Brown stripy babies like Atticus and Hendrix and Calliope love pets. They love to cuddle you and snuggle you and give up on love on you. It's definitely, that's why I say racism is real in cats. Their coloration truly does tell you what they're going to be like. Yep. Calicos are neurotic as fuck. They can be some of the most bipolar cats you'll ever meet. They love you, but like, so for instance, Daisy, don't pick her up. She will turn to a maniac. She will start freaking out, screaming, and dig all four paws in to get away. Nova, as you guys have heard, will run through this house. And Athena, if you try to pick her up at certain times, like, but they're all chatterboxes. All of them won't shut up. I heard white cats like being, yes, I have owned white cats. They are exceedingly independent.
Vincent's got to be the quietest cat I've ever owned. He doesn't meow often. You can barely hear him purr. Yep. When he purrs, you can feel it more than hear it.
See, now Calliope is a bit of a chatterbox when she wants to be. But her and Hendrix is purring. But Atticus, very quiet. You can tell he's happy. But like you said, I feel his purring more than I hear his purring.
Yeah.
And he's a very, but they're all three of them will be more apt to come up and accept head pets, scratches on the ears. So it's very weird how that works out. It's very weird how that works out. And that's honestly, so after 40 said her, I would highlight the comment, but I can't. That's why it makes sense. Oh, okay. So now you're insulted. Calicos tend to be one of two ways. They're either fantastic with other cats or they're assholes. Instance, what Annie said. Like, Athena will stand right in front of Orion and freak him out. She'll beat the shit out of him. I felt bad, though. Calliope hit Greta the other day. Greta wasn't doing anything. She was being a good girl. She just walked up and sniffed her, and Calliope, like, claws out smacked her.
Yeah, we can't get these cats to go claws out on the dog. We occasionally wish they would, just so the dogs would, you know, teach the dogs a lesson, put them in their place. But no. I have two of the sweetest, most gentle cats you could ever ask for.
I will tell you, I understand completely. Because that was what kept Orion, like, at bay, was the attitude. With some of my sweet cats would trigger the worst stuff in him. I wonder where Nova is. Usually she's in here bothering by this time. But all right, my darling. What you think we should, because you're starting to get tired, I can see it.
Yeah, I think we're about close to wrapping up.
You want to lead us out?
Yeah, I'll be not doing anything tomorrow. And maybe on midweek hump on Wednesday with Shagsworth and Sheep and No Green Rocks and Mr. Grant Gregory, and we'll have LG 2010 LG or LG 2010. I don't remember which direction
LG
that goes.
2010.
Yeah, that one. On as our guest this week, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I like him. Thursday and Friday, I'll be playing Baldur's Gate. Saturday, I will be doing 7 Days to Die, and Sunday I'll either be streaming more Baldur's Gate, or I'll say, you know what, screw it, and continue working on these shorts I've been working on.
Yeah, she's been working on a lot of them. I called her, now Nova's in here, but she isn't coming over yet. Nova!
And then I'm back here on Monday.
Well, as for me, hey, don't start a fight, either of you. As for me, I have a lot of videos on my roster. I don't know what's coming out this week. I have to look them over. Tomorrow, I will be here drawing. I actually will be, because litter boxes have changed, cooled down a little bit outside, so it's not as dreadful in this room. Plus, this fan has become the best when we broke our light. With the fan. Our light in our bedroom, the fan started breaking it, so we had to lower it to medium, so it's not as powerful a fan right now. We've been turning off the light in the day. The chain broke inside the light bulb.
Oh, shit.
So now we're going to replace the whole unit. I'm like, of course. But anyways, so I'll be here tomorrow. We'll be drawing together, guys. Not sure which we're going to be drawing, but we're going to be drawing. And then you will see my new video on Thursday. Then Sunday, I'll be back here with Faye, Queen, and Peachy. And then Monday, back here with my lovely StarMorata. So, almost this way. Sorry. I'll get there. Otherwise, guys, that's it for me today. And that's it for you too, my darling.
Oh, yeah.
So remember to get your animals spayed or neutered. Remember to never forget 9/11. And remember to tell the people that are important to you that you love them and to be safe. So, guys, I love you. Be safe. Horror.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
Be safe.
You too.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. Catch you next week.